Welcome along. Another Saturday here at Racing Post Live. Delighted to have you with us. Myself, Dave Orton, your host for the afternoon's fare ahead. Bit of jumping, bit of flat action on the grass. Again, we had the Lincoln last week, didn't we? We're a week off. Aintree, finally. Aintree comes back for another Grand National meeting. But in the meantime, we go actually up to Liverpool for Haydock. It's the Challenger Series there. Really good card there. Some really open races for you. And usually an informative meeting on the flat at Musselburgh as well. So get involved. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. That's the crack there. If you are, of course, on Facebook Live, welcome along to the party. Get your social media comments in. Love the viewer interaction. And, of course, anything on Twitter, hashtag RP Live. Who have we got for you then on the panel this Saturday? A debutante. Yes, indeed, I hear you cry. Andrew Mount joins us. Good to have you here, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave. Looking forward to it.
Now, you are sort of doing a very good impression, minus glasses or with glasses, to the man to your left.
How's this about to take him off?
Which is Graeme Rodway. Look, absolutely fantastic back in the scene. It's going to be fun this afternoon. Because look at Graham's hair. I mean, you've just unashamedly now just gone lockdown crazy, haven't you?
Well, this is my last show before the bar was open, and I just thought I'd really let it go today.
Happy days. And, of course, you look a bit like a mad professor. But in Andrew, as you quite rightly said when he walked into the office, we sort of have a professor here, don't we? Which should worry you, Mr. Rodway, because all this time here on RP Live, with your mad theories that you've been putting out, a lot of them prove wrong, I have to say. There is a man that can validate them for us here this afternoon.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm the sort of guy that comes up with the mad theories, and Andrew is the kind of guy who either proves them or disproves them.
That makes it sound like I'm his apprentice.
I think it's more likely to be the other way around. But listen, we've got two very knowledgeable chats for you here this afternoon. A little word about yourself, Andrew. You've been spotlight writer at the Post, haven't you, for, well, longer than I've been at the Post, actually.
Yeah, since you were in short trousers, and regular columnist in the Weekender and
RFO.
Football Outlook, and daily column for the GG website as well. So,
and trend horses is your thing. Now, when you say trends, that will perk a lot of people's interest. So with the races today, you sort of look at them historically, do you?
Yeah, I mean, the Trend Horses books I used to write for Race Form were horse profiling, looking for horses who run well in particular conditions. Yeah. And what I'm doing nowadays is a lot based on sort of pace, draw, speed, stats. Just trying to use stats to whittle it down to a manageable shortlist and find a few profitable bets with luck.
Well, it can only go downhill on this show, Andrew. So
exactly.
we'll have some fun this afternoon as well. Anything in particular you're looking forward to? We can give the viewers a steer.
Yeah, I've napped Marshall down in the first race, the 150 at Musselburgh, first we're covering. He's a horse who struggles to win back-to-back. He's won 7 times in his life. Every time he's got beaten next time out. Now, he won over course and distance on his penultimate start. He then went to Newcastle, got chinned, as he always has done after a win. But there was quite a lot of promise in that run. He was drawn 1 on the outside over the straight 7 furlongs. He raced keenly, didn't get cover. Did well to finish 4th, I thought. And coming back to Musselburgh, well drawn towards the inside in stall 2. I thought there were a lot of positives for Marshall Dan. And Stone Soldier stuck out wide in stall 10, could struggle.
He was the early favourite, wasn't he? They're sort of flip-flopping a little bit. Great stuff, an early steer for you then. And debutantes, they like to go early in the shows. Andrew will know his fate in the 150. He's definitely on my shortlist. Last week we had a debutant on the show, Marc Hryhorskyj, now a season pro. And forgive me if I'm wrong, Andrew, Marc, but I seem to remember that you went heavy on the first race last week as well. Are you such a confident chap this week, I wonder?
Yeah, hi Dave. Great to be back representing Betfair. Hopefully I've got a few up my sleeve here. There is a few prices and some tasty back to late trades that I've got lined up. But looking forward to covering the flat racing action north of the border at Musselburgh, including the Royal Mill Handicap, the Scottish Sprint Cup and the Queen's Cup. Plus we have the jump card action at Haydock to look forward to. All eyes will be on the jump jockey title, which is really heating up. With the current champion Brian Hughes and Hryhorskyj both tied on 130 winners. Hryhorskyj is obviously a Haydock today, and the champion jockey Brian Hughes opted for Carlisle. If you fancy Harry or Brian to get the job done, the Betfair Exchange has the only in-running market for this intriguing jockey title, which ends on April the 24th. Hryhorskyj is currently 1.57 around the 4-7 mark. Brian Hughes is 2.4, so roughly around 11 to 8 on the Betfair Exchange. There's 26,000 in the market right now, so there'll be no issue getting matched if you fancy Harry or Brian. Brian Hughes actually has 6 fancied rides at Carlisle today, so still lots of twists and turns in this one, in my opinion. However, I'll keep the viewers updated on this intriguing market as the afternoon is racing unfolds. On last month, we ended March with 1,615 profit for the charity Wild Child. The charity of choice this month is Greatwood, and here's hoping I can get the month off to a flyer with some profitable trades and selections this afternoon.
You really are a chip off Barry's block. You've stolen my thunder there marvellously. Yeah, it's been great. It's been great stuff that Barry's been doing for the charities in January, of course, in February, with the Burrows, didn't we? Of course, at the IJF, Well Child last month, and of course now we go to Greatwood. Super duper. Let's get some socials off the screen. And Stephen Crompton opens the show. Looking forward to today. Andrew Mount's insight and some of the races. There you go. So we're being kind to you. Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're quite right. You're quite right. I'm
not my dad.
I'm also excited about this pressure building for Andrew. Let's have a look at what else comes on. Brad Powell comes on. That laptop is massive. No, I'm glad that you've mentioned. It's like a Death Star. It's absolutely remarkable, isn't it?
Brad's size doesn't matter. Come on. Surely you've been told that before in your life. So.
Well, quite absolutely. But it's all on there, is it? I assume.
Yeah, that's right. I can hide behind it as well if I tip a loser. Yeah. When I tip a loser.
That must be quite tricky on the train, I imagine, or something like a plane, for example. You have to get like 2 seats to yourself.
It gets sent down before me. I'll pick it up at the station.
Yeah, UPS or something like that. Absolutely fantastic. Good observations. All right, let's get the market up then for the first. It is there, as ever, in front of your eyes. And Marshall Dan looks like he's drifting out a little bit to me, Mark.
Yeah, Marshall Dan leads the betting for Heather Main and Shane Gray. This one was a bit shorter this morning. It's about 5.6 right now to back, 5.7 to lay. Luke Morris and Archie Watson was quite short as well. That was the actual favourite this morning. That's out to 6.2, around 5 to 1. And obviously Holly Doyle actually opts for Mo's Memory for Ed Walker. There's been a little bit of support for that one. That's 8.2 to back, 8.4 to lay. But I'll chuck my selection in early here. I'm quite keen on the old boy here, Muntadib, for Roger Fell and Ben Curtis, 9-year-old. Interesting runner for Roger Fell. Last victory came with today's rider, Ben Curtis, on board of 87 at Epsom on the 4th of July. Only off 80 here. Drawn 4 and will handle today's conditions. 5 runs at Musselburgh, 1 win in 2 seconds, so runs well at the course. Was as big as 33 to 1 on the Betfair Sportsbook on Thursday. However, I can assure you I never got any of that 33 to 1, unfortunately. But I do like Muntadib's chances here. So what we're going to do this is going to be a win and additional place selection. It's currently 15.5 on the Betfair Exchange to win. And then we're going to use the 4-place market on the Betfair Exchange. We're going to take that additional place. We'll have a £25 win on Muntadib. He's currently 16th, 15 to 1 right now. And we'll have a £25 win on Muntadib in the 4-place market right now as well, so 3.15, so just nearly 9 to 4.
25 on the 4-place market, so
yes,
that's on there. Yep, so that's matched, and I think the win bet went on. Yep, so that's all matched.
Lovely. I'm expecting a big run from this one.
Thank you very much, Marc Hryhorskyj. So you've got plenty of time. We're around about 10 minutes away from the opener, aren't we, at Musselburgh? 7 races coming your way. We culminate in a staying the Queen's Cup, actually. I think we could pretty much call that the feature race there at Musselburgh this afternoon. My nap goes in that. I will keep you on tender hooks for that. OK, so Muntadib. Now, I want to come to you with this, Andrew. This is quite interesting. He's 9-year-old. So he is the elderly statesman here. From a trend perspective, historical perspective, high draw, no.
Yep.
First time out, no.
Exactly.
So he's got a low draw Muntadib, and well, I think of the first four stalls, he's the only one that's had a run, hasn't he? And it was at Southwell last time. I spoke to Paul Keeley about this chap yesterday. I think he might have been the one that started sparking the movement on Betfair. And he basically said, you don't run a 9-year-old first time out at Southwell unless you've got some target in mind. You seem to think this might be it. Yeah,
that's a fair point. And we've had 3 runnings of this race previously. All 3 winners had a recent outing. We've only got 3 of the field today who've raced in the last 2 months.
Yes.
That's obviously a small sample size, though, so perhaps we shouldn't get too carried away about that. Marc makes a great case for Muntadib, though, based on his course form. 5 goes here, 2 close seconds, a win, and a couple of nowheres. I used to think he was best in the autumn. 6 of his last 7 wins have come sort of September, October time, although, as Marc said, he did win at Epsom last July, I think it was. So there was £8 matched at 38 on the Betfair Exchange last night. So if you're on at those sort of prices, and as Marc said, 33 on the sports book, you've got a good bet there, and you're certainly looking at probably a sort of third of that price now. So it wouldn't surprise me to see if he runs well. I'm hoping he gets chinned by my Marshall Dan, but certainly wouldn't put you off.
We were chatting about Heather Main, Marshall Dan's trainer, and I said I couldn't find a winner, but something ran well, and you quite rightly, very quickly said it was in the Spring Mile, didn't you?
That was last Saturday. She had a 16-1 beaten 3/4 length.
That was an eye catcher.
Mostawa,
there we are. Yeah. So look, yard in form for Marshall Dan. All ground seems to come to light to him.
Yeah, that course win came on soft ground. Seems to cope with most conditions. So yeah, just the fact that last year after his seasonal debut, he was beaten on 3 occasions. Every time he bounced back to win.
Yeah.
So again, he's got a bit of that OXO pattern to him: good run, bad run, etc. He's due a good one. He's got form. Yes. He's got form when fresh. He likes the track. He's well drawn in stall too.
He's just rock solid, isn't he?
Yeah. I put him up as an each way bet, sort of 11-2 last night. He's still around. It's still a backable each way price at the moment.
With a horse like this, from a yard like this, I guess when lots of people will be looking at the members section now on the Racing Post and going, where was the 8-1 available? Gee, with a horse like this, you want to see this support, really, don't you? If it goes the other way, I like one in the Sprint Cup, for example. Count D'Orsay of Tim Easterby's. Easterby's record in it is awful, though, however, and he has spiked out. He doesn't have a good record fresh. It's put me off him and on to another one. This guy just looks rock solid, doesn't he? A bit of support.
Yeah, he does. Stone Soldier's been really easy to back, hasn't he? Was he quite well fancied early in when these markets came up?
Yeah, he's been matched at less than 3-1 on the Betfair Exchange. He's now exactly 5-1.
Much bigger price now, isn't he? So, why do you think that is?
Well, the draw, isn't it? He's drawn in 10. It seems to be, for want of another expression, it seems to be a bit of a coffin boss, isn't it? That.
Well, yeah. I watched his run last time at Southall, and I didn't think he looked the quickest. He took a bit of stoking, didn't he, to get round those bends. He came round the outside.
Yeah.
Now, when he really got rolling, he was good once he got going in the straight. But I had this feeling he's on the outside and this sharp bend at Musselburgh, and how far is he going to get behind before he
really
really
have the
gets
pace
rolling?
to overcome it? Yeah, sure.
Maybe if he wanted to play Stone Soldier, the way to play him would be back him at bigger price in running. Should he get caught out wide? Should he get himself into a poor position? Maybe you could think about a bigger price in running and trying to get matched at maybe double the odds that he currently is. I was sort of along the same lines as Andrew with the form lines, but I thought maybe 3 Saints Bay might be the better value play on the similar. They've got a similar form, haven't they?
Last year's winner, 3 Saints Bay, of course.
Yeah, Marshall Dan beat 3 Saints Bay in the race you were talking about here last year, I think.
But he also beat Hayad, who was second in the race last year. That's the one I like.
The old Musselburgh regulars, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
All turning up to take each other on. But,
exactly.
The downside with 3 Saints Bay is having his first run for a new yard today. Liam Bailey, who is 0 from 28, I think, with the horses he takes over from other trainers at the first time of asking.
That's why he's here.
And he does look at the pace map. He looks like the pace angle. Say he won it last year for the O'Mara yard, but whether he can pull that off now for a different trainer remains to be seen.
do you think they're going to gun him first time out, 3 Saints Bay from stall 9? Are they going to go bang and try and
He absolutely
fly him out
loves
there?
this place, doesn't he?
I think he got to really. The fact that he's running in the race he won last year suggests that they've targeted this contest. I mean, the downside is he has got a Marc Johnson horse on his inside in the shape of Eton College. Now, he ran at Newcastle last time out, ran an absolute shocker, but he's had 3 runs there. He's only beaten 1 horse in those 3 starts.
Right.
On turf, since his turf debut, he's had 7 goes, 3 wins, 3 places, and a duck egg at Goodwood when he completely played up in the preliminaries and blew the start.
Right.
So you would think, Marc Johnson, the Marc Johnson team will probably gun Eton College. So on paper, it looks as though 3 Saints Bay might get an easy, but probably not, knowing which other trainers have got runners in this race.
Yeah, when Andrew alludes to a pace map, as most of you, we assume will know what we're on about, but we look for where the front runners are in these races. So you can find various maps all over the place. And of course, if you're new to the exchange, we're showcasing the functionality of it this afternoon for you. Marc Hryhorskyj giving trades in every race so you can learn about it. You don't have to play in every race. Safe gambling is our MO here. So much coming up. Let's just keep it nice and simple and have fun. However, I've had a little bit on Hayad in this. Second in the race last year, got a low draw. Would have maybe preferred him to have a run. But the 8-year-old does have a good record of going fresh. And this is the first one for Harvey Basterman, of course. Terrible tale of Rebecca, his sister, passing away after a long illness. last month, wasn't there? This is a first run for him, and I'm sure this will be running for absolutely everything, this chap. And he used to be a John Gosden horse from memory. I think he was Elsa Carb, wasn't he? He's really, really well bred, this chap. And he is 100 horse on his day, I think.
That's right. He's had 3 runs when fresh since joining the Bastelman yard. First time out, 2 wins and a third. So, coming at it from the best fresh angle is fair enough. He's got form in the race previously. Draw-wise, he's nicely berthed in stall 3.
It just all looks like he's going to come in the top 4 for me. Now, Marc Hryhorskyj, you said there was a 4-place market. What odds, Hayad?
Hayad right now is currently 2.76, so I mean you could probably get about a 15 to 8, 7 to 4 here in the additional place market, which looks like value. Just alluding back to Graeme's comments on Stole Soldier, this one's currently, it's actually favourite now at 5.7 on the Betfair Exchange to back, 5.8 to lay. And the last 3 wins at Southwell, he's actually traded higher than the Betfair SP in the run. So if you do think this thing is going to be stuck wide, if you maybe want to put a back maybe around 7, 8 to 1, I think you probably would get matched here, but I don't really think they can decide here. Marshall Dance just went favourite again there on the win market, 5.9, 6 to back. It does look quite a trappy affair. But going back to the 4-place market, I mean, it's actually out to 2.9 now, so there's actually a bit of a 2 to 1 there available on the 4-place market if you want to use that one, Dave.
That is exactly what I'm looking at. Thank you very much, Marc Hryhorskyj. We'll talk about Stone Soldier again in a second, but I believe we've got another social coming up from one of our viewers on the screen about Hayad as well. A bit more confidence. Andy Sim, good to have you back on. Andy says, hi guys, Hayad each way looks good. Hopefully we've given you a bit of hope there for that chap. Yeah, don't worry about taking a price in these races, I don't think. Stone Soldier, of course, rated £9 higher on the all-weather.
This is his first run on the turf since joining Archie Watson from James Given. I mean, that's been a profitable angle with those ex-James Given horses since he retired. 3 wins from 6, and Stone Soldier being one of those. Small sample size, obviously, but we've got another one later on, Indianapolis, who makes his debut for Ian Williams.
I once wrote in the analysis department about a horse that left James Given and gone to Richard Fahey, and I said he's really found his feet now. God, the phone was hot after that one. But James Given now, of course, working for the BHA. You can say what you like. It's all right. It's all good. Mole's Memories is quite an interesting horse because you mentioned Archie Watson there. It's somewhat surprising that Holly Doyle's on that instead of Stone Soldier. I know Luke Morris has got the association with the horse, but of course, it's a long way to go for these jockeys, isn't it? She was brilliant yesterday.
Oh, you looked like a Luke Morris ride to me, Stone Soldier.
You can't say it's not Holly Doyle ride, though, can you? She can do everything.
Well, yeah, Holly can do pretty much anything she wants.
She was magnificent yesterday, wasn't she?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if Luke's been winning on the horse and knows the horse well, then it's probably a bit unfair to jock him off.
They've got a couple of fancied horses.
It was quite a good race, wasn't it? Was it the Tomfer race at Dolly that I know he finished down the field in Mole's Memory last time, but
yeah, that's right.
I think that wasn't a bad race, or was it the previous race?
Yes, she looked a little bit over the top that day. It's a lack of a first time out record that puts me off her a little bit, and maybe she wants a bit more cut.
And the track, she's only ever won on straight courses. She's had 5 goes on turning tracks, lost all 5, although she did go close at Haydock once, over 7 furlongs.
Yeah, I'm looking back, there was a run, I can't remember what she found, more trouble than you could possibly get into in a nightclub, I think, on her track, and she might just be one of those, mightn't she? There's a reason why they put Spencer on her quite a bit, so maybe look out for her. But Ed Walker, it's a bit of a quiet time for him, isn't it, at the minute, but he's got some star performers coming out. So again, we'll just keep an eye on that one, I think. It's got the draw in 1. I guess that's why it's holding its position in the market. Where are we? Very close to race time, but more viewer interaction comes in. Mally Draycott joins the party again. Good afternoon, guys. Marshall down for me. Can't believe Miss Summergand yesterday. We've got to talk about Summergand. You're laughing. Let's give a little summary. People are like, I'm missing out here.
Yeah, well, this was obviously my absolute 5-star nap last week when he got turned over in the Camage Trophy at Donny.
Yeah.
Really fancied him. But
turned out it was a prep.
Got in a right old mess, didn't he? Got a long way behind and ended up in a pocket, and the race didn't pan out. But luckily stuck with him yesterday. So that
because Adam Kirby steered him to the all-weather sprint final success.
He's great on the all-weather, isn't he, Kirby?
Did we enjoy it yesterday, the action?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I think Summergand was my 5-star nap when he got beaten the time before the Doncaster race.
He's one of those horses, Summergand, isn't he?
I mean, he's got a reputation for being best in these big field cavalry charges on straight tracks, but he does pretty well around a turn. He's a Pontefract winner. He's got a good all-weather record.
It just shows you when you get disappointed with one run with these horses that you know are pretty sound and need things to go their way, you can't jump off.
And also, this is one of the things that gets me is, does he need everything to go his own way, or is this just a sort of thing that has developed over time, and now jockeys think that he needs to be ridden this way, so then he often gets this sort of ride where he comes from miles and miles off pace. Like,
Are you suggesting they should just bounce out in front on some of
I
them?
thought he looked fairly straightforward yesterday. I mean, Kirby dropped him in behind, came down the outside. I thought he had every chance to turn it in if he didn't want to go and win, and he put his head right in front of the line. I thought it was a perfectly fine performance. What's wrong with it?
Maybe the first time visor helped as well.
Yeah, which was it? The Stewards' Cup he won in first time cheek pieces, I think. So he's got a bit of
Needs everything to go right. Needs absolutely.
High Shields next.
Yeah, exactly. That's
He
right.
could get a go and be champion sprinter nowadays.
Yeah,
You watch.
exactly. Listen, let's hope so. As summer going,
There's
everyone
been
loves it.
horses like that though, isn't? Do you remember the horse of Clive Cox's?
Oh, they're
they're
off and running at Musselburgh.
We'll come back to that.
The mad professor was going on about one. OK, we're off and running there. Let's take it up. Good luck wherever you've played in the 150. They look like they're going at absolute pace, actually, don't they? Muntadav for Marc Hryhorskyj and Paul Keeley out there. He's in a nice firing line. Marshall Dan for Andrew Mount. Got to be happy with that position, but let's pick it up in a second. El Tijab it is, who comes right across from PJ McDonald. Now, when they're doing this, Andrew, at Musselburgh, to get in from the wide draws, you know they're going to pace and they're well strung out.
Yeah, Edge to Lab looked like he might be trying to get across there, but he couldn't. Marshall Dunn's jockey having none of it and has cut him off at the pass, and he's in the lead now.
Let's have a look then. G, going round. I'm quite happy with Hayab, 4 furlongs out.
I'm not that happy with 3 Saints Bay. He's not got the lead that I was hoping he was going to. What happened to Eton College? He must have missed a break. He was right out the back early on, never in it. And Marshall Dan's still going well on the lead, isn't he, Dave?
Absolutely. And Mole's memory. Holly Doyle looking for a way out. Can't
She'll
get this
find
to
a
win
way
first
through.
time.
She
She'll
always
find
finds a way, Holly.
Hayad looking for a run then. 2 furlongs out. Fill your lungs. El Tijab. He's going to fall in a hole. What's Marshall Dan got fitness-wise? Here comes Hayad down the outside. Radana. This is the one that seemingly wins second time out. Bit slow motion fitness coming into it. Go on, Hayad. What you got?
Here comes Holly.
Here comes Holly on Mole's
Holly.
memory. Radana around the
Eton
outside.
College,
Marshall Dan
Eton
not
College,
giving up on the
weaving
inside.
through.
Eton College. G's called it. Put another 0 on he basically
Where's this
said.
come from?
Looks like he's going to come and
Where's
swallow
this
them all
thing come
up.
from?
The clouds.
Oh, and he's going to be Andrew Mount. Is he going to finish? He is. Oh, unbelievable scenes. Can't win, said Graeme Rodway. You know the trend of the day now. Happy days if you were on Eton College. Really interesting case made by Andrew Mount. He's come and chinned you, Andrew. Marshall Dan did exactly what Marshall Dan does. He's just found perhaps a better treated horse, one too good at the business end.
Yeah, can't complain with that. You know, backing him each way. You know, you've never looked like you're going to be out the first 3. He's got taken on for the lead by Edge to Lab, but he's always held that inside line, which has helped. And
Yeah.
But it was a great ride on the winner. Watching the replay now, he's in sort of 7th place. Looks to be going up and down on the spot briefly, and then weaves his way through, takes off. So since his turf debut, he's had 8 runs on the grass now. That's 4 wins,
Remarkable.
3 places, and a duck egg at Goodwood when he basically blew the race in the preliminaries. So
Which
easy
does
for me
happen.
to say.
Which does happen. At
Yeah,
Goodwood,
exactly.
of course.
And but basically he's useless on the all-weather. He's had 3 goes at Newcastle. He's only beaten 1 horse in those 3 goes. Switching from the sand back to turf has been the key to success here. But
What a pleasure that was.
Sadly.
What a pleasure that was to call that home when Graeme Rodway realised that was about to come out of the clouds and win. We'll go to G in a minute for the egg on FaceTime, and a really good explanation there from Andrew of both 2 horses. I want to talk about that in a second, but Marc Hryhorskyj, how big did Eton College go?
He's hit 110 to 1 in running for £2. I was actually quite surprised with Marshall Dan. Actually, this one would have been a bit shorter. It's only been matched at even money for £864. I thought that one would have been a little bit more shorter, but Eton College £2 at 110 to 1. I thought the selection, Munstad, had every chance on the inside, just couldn't get her one a bit one pace in the final furlong. He's went as low as 3.85 there. For £62, but no complaints there. I think the winner's done it well in the end after being slowly away.
Is there any chance you can have a word with the trading room, see if they can extend that 4-place market to 5 with Hayad? I think I've just been chinned for the 4th place there. He ran quite well, didn't he? But lots to take out of that. And the one thing I want to say about this before we talk about Stone Soldier and exactly why Eton College got so far back, this is historically a tricky time of year, in between Cheltenham and on the eve of the Grand National Meeting. The flat's coming back, all weather horses starting to go slightly over top. So look, it's a small stakes day. We're learning. And when you see 696 in black form figures with a horse like Eton College, you think the game is up. You've got to look forensically into it. What a good weekend to have. The Professor, as I'm now going to call him, Andrew Mount, on the show. Over to the Mad Professor. It's usually me that says that in running.
It is. I've taken a leaf out of your book there.
You don't want to be
Dave,
doing that, my man.
What a winner it was, though. I mean, did it win easy? Once it started siving through the field, it was unbelievable. It's just like ticking them off one after the other. If you've managed to back that, then you probably can't believe your luck, because Sunning for Home is beating all ends up.
Yeah.
And you're in behind a wall of horses, and it was amazing. They all just seemed to open up, and there was like this clean weaving way through for Franny Norton. It was just.
And he's in again next week on Friday at Leicester at the 2:40.
That'll be a short price.
Got him really under a penalty. Marc Johnson's not afraid of running them back quickly.
It certainly isn't, is he? And he won the first race of the day. That was the opening 2-year-old race as well. He's got horses in all of our races as well. So could he be going through the card today? The Midland Maestro. Stone Soldier, what about him? That is something you got absolutely right, G. He didn't have the pace to go early, and it looked like a classic fibre sand horse on what looks
he
like
got too far behind, didn't he? He didn't have the tactical speed for that test. He's going to be a different horse around Southall, and I'm sure you see it back there, won't you?
Just a shame they're getting rid of the fibre sand.
Oh, don't get me started on that. He thinks it's a good idea, just to let you know, to throw him under that bus.
What are they putting out in there?
I know you liked him.
Well, Ross Briley was in mourning for 3 months when he
honestly, some of my colleagues, I can't remember what they said, but it was hard. I mean, awful decision. I think if you like, look, let's not go into this. I can see you ready for this. You think it's going to be a better track, don't you? This is Southwell, by the way, no fibre sand. Let us know what you think about this. I think it's dreadful. We've got until July, haven't we, I think?
There's not that many meetings left now, I don't think, on the old surface. So it's a real shame if you've just bought a horse because of his pedigree, because you think he's going to be a money spinner on fibre sand.
And some horses can just find another leg, can't they, when they get onto fibre sand, because it provides everything they need.
Surely nobody buys a horse to win races on fibre sand.
You shouldn't. Be careful what you're saying here. Be careful what you're saying. There are plenty.
I know some punters who only ever bet on it.
Exactly.
And we often talk about, there's so much racing, perhaps you should specialise. But you can take it too far, and if they decide to rip up the surface as they have, that's your career scuppering.
And it will be to Peter, which we have at Newcastle, which we have at Wolverhampton. I'm being told by Rob Lee to move on. But disgraceful scenes at Southwell. Have a word with yourselves. Let's go up to Haydock, where the surface has looked absolutely gleaming in 2 races that they've had so far. It is the Challenger Series. It is the 205. It is a 2-mile handicap. Shantou Express, Marc Hryhorskyj, a real steamer here.
Currently 3.2 on the Betfair Exchange right now, just roughly around 9-4. Second in is Vision du Pois for Dan Skelton and Harry Skelton. 3.6, 3.55 around the 5-2 mark. And Pam Sly's Excitations with Keelan Woods on board is currently 6-1 for it in. How I would like to play this one, I actually probably want to take on Vision du Pois. I'm not sure how good my French pronunciation there is, but she was an easy winner last time out at Stratford on the 15th of March, over 2 miles, half a furlong. She looked well beat coming round the bend that day. BSP was 9.99 that day and hit 240 to 1 in running on the Betfair Exchange. The second, Glory and Fortune, raced freely throughout, and the duel with the eventual third, Global Society, paid to both their chances. Approaching the last, they both tired. Vision du Pois, up £5 for that win. I just think this one needs further, in my opinion. A flat track like Haydock and a slight step back in trip, I don't think will play into her strengths. I genuinely think she needs a stiffer test. This is one I want to be taking on at the prices. I'm happy to lay this one for the win around 3.55 right now. So, Graeme, if you want to do the honours, we're going to do a win lay on Vision du Pois. £25 stake, please.
£25 lay of Vision du Pois, 3.55. Yep. So that is £25 to win on everything bar Vision du Pois, which will cost $63.75 if Vision du Pois wins.
Thanks for that.
Thank you very much, Marc Hryhorskyj. Yeah, interesting. I looked back at the win at Stratford and was off it before the home turn. That is an interesting angle against that one, I think. They're sort of winning everything at the moment, Andrew, aren't they? But you're not only here to show us all the stats, you can also tell us, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? Yeah. You can also tell us the pronunciation of this horse.
I think I listened to the commentary back of that Stratford race in the Vision du Pois.
Vision du Pois. We'll go with Vision du Pois, Marc Hryhorskyj.
Well, that was the commentator on the day's interpretation, so today's one could be completely different.
Listen, what they say goes as far as I'm concerned. I try and do it sometimes, and it's a nightmare of a job. Which one are you with, Andrew Mount? Bidding to go one better than your close call on Marshall Day.
Well, Vision du Pois, that was impressive at Stratford because he won from off the pace, which is hard to do. Basically, Stratford's the jumps equivalent of Chester. It's, you want to be round the inside and prominent. The second and third that day looked to have the race between them. Both were in the first 2 or 3 throughout. So is he going to get the race run to suit here? Probably not. You've got one probable front runner in Chiti Balco, who's a bit of a course expert. I've probably got the pronunciation of that one wrong. Now he's had 4 goes over course and distance, 3 wins and a second. The last time he ran here, he won by 26 lengths off a £1 lower mark. He probably needs it softer, but if he gets loose on the lead, I thought he could go well. Last time out at Wetherby, in the race in which Shantou Express was second, he's gone a little bit too hard. The winner, the third and fourth have all come from well off the pace. Shantou Express impressed me that day because he was chasing a strong pace and he paid for that. Now he goes well left-handed, 5 runs this way around, 2 wins, 3 seconds. So I thought Shantou Express is going to be very hard to keep out of the 2. I was also worried about the big field, the lack of big field, the lack of likely strong pace for the likes of Excitation and in particular Dino Velvet. Dino Velvet's last 4 wins have come in fields of 10 or more runners. He's not going to enjoy this sort of small field dawdle. We saw the first hurdle race off air. The pace held up. For the winner and second were in the first sort of 3 or 4 throughout. Da Vinci Hand was also interesting, having been sort of done at 65, I think, to small money on the Betfair Exchange last night, and is into less than half those odds. Now he's trained by Jerome Foster, who does quite well second time with horses she gets from other yards. You'd make a profit backing them over hurdles, plus £125 at Betfair SP. Only 3 winners from 43, but she's also had a second at 100 to 1 in that sample as well.
Don't know a lot about this chap, do we? He came over from France.
Won twice in France. Probably needed the run on that British debut, and it's also running that same Wetherby race, I think, as a couple of the others. So I thought this was another tricky one. So I've bet Chitty Balco on the pace angle, bet Shantou Express, and then had a small saver on Da Vinci Hand. So 3 out of the 7. That's a few arrows at the board in a small field race. But
also against Vision de P then, or Puy, however we say it. I keep seeing the professor out of
You keep seeing my hair.
Back to the Future, honestly, in the corner of my eye. It's a sort of like crusty clown sort of...
Can we go forward and get the almanac with the results in?
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, that's one thing he won't ever be able to tell us. But we do agree on this, worryingly, this race.
Yeah,
Beach Boys
we do, don't
Excitations.
we? Yeah. Excitation, getting excited about this one. I just think it's the improving horse in a race full of kind of exposed out of form types, generally speaking. And that win at Fakenham last time, I thought there was a good case to rate him up quite a bit for that win. He flew the last. He was so strong at the finish, and he bounced off the good ground. I thought he was really relishing the surface. I'm quite strong on Excitations. He's one of my best bets of the day, Dave.
Happy days. I'm glad to hear that. He's gone up £10, obviously, but you're right. He did travel like a
He's gone up £10. He's now rated 130, but I think he's related to a half brother was rated 140 and 135 rated hurdler as well. So he could still be £5 or £10 well in if he's up to the same standards as his relations were.
Yeah.
Half a sixpence, was it? One of them was called?
But basically,
trained by
Pam
Pam
Sly,
Sly.
whatever's in her stable, she knows the family inside out, doesn't she? She tends to have lots of siblings through the years. You know, these breeders still send horses to Pam. Classic winning trainer Pam, of course. I take your point about the lack of pace for him might not be ideal. I just thought, Shantou, I wonder whether that rise... I don't know. He's a chaser in the making, isn't he? I think they're just running him... I don't know. 140 at Haydock, I'm not sure about him at the price he's at now for Team Bassett.
He just looked the wrong price this morning, at sort of 137 to 2 when there were doubts about the Jolly. I mean, we should mention the gamble here on Nordic Combined for the Pipe Yard.
If this wins, I'll be up in arms. I've followed this horse and I have since said that's enough.
Well, he went in my tracker once after a run at Fontwell where he raced around the inside in the swamp. Bet him next time, didn't do any good. He's only won once from 21 starts over hurdles.
That's him, by the way. That's Nordic Combined. You've just summed him up perfectly. He goes into your tracker. You think this is it. I think he ran at Sandown.
Well, they're going to have the 2 brothers jumping off in front of we. Was it Fergus and Theo?
The Gillards.
The Gillard brothers are going to cut out the pace here.
Well, let's hope there is a bit of pace on. They're walking in for the first race of the day at Haydock. It is the 2:05. Let's hope we've given you some understanding on wherever your play is going. Marc Hryhorskyj laying Vision de P. Seems like quite a few of you out there have done that. Shantou Express now a hard favourite. Great to still have the jumpers with us. Aintree on the horizon. Let us know your Aintree thoughts. Keep them coming in. But for now, it's back we go. And indeed, Chittabello does go to the front as Andrew correctly predicted. Very interesting, isn't it, that he's got that course form, but he is being taken on by Shantou Express at the moment, and the gamble of the race, Nordic Combined, the three of them are going clear over the first. Excitation takes it well. Vision Dupuis, just upside him in around about fourth place. That's when you're doing close-up comments called tracking leaders. In midfield, held up in midfield is Dino Velvet. He'll quite like the pace, I would imagine. And right out the back, the ex-French Da Vinci Hand, hoping to pick them all up under Gav Sheehan. Just steadied it up a little bit, Andrew.
What's interesting about that one, Da Vinci Hand is shortest price has ever been, even though he's out the back of the field, 22 to 1 on the exchange.
This will have to be Buster Edwards, won't it, to win this, I think.
It's a long way behind.
If you don't know who Buster Edwards is,
a long way behind.
Look at the replay after his race of Buster Edwards winning at Haydock. Then it caused all sorts of debates about camera angles, and because he basically he wasn't seen, was he, until the last couple of strides, and he gets up. But difficult to do this at Haydock, isn't it?
And at least the camera angles are better this week than they were at Derby last week.
Indeed, a little dig there. Yes, that was quite tough, wasn't it, in the Spring Mile last week. But Chitabalco, much to Andrew's delight, has now got his own way. Where do you sit with front runners when there are a couple of them up there? You don't really mind how quick they're going in their race, as long as they're not pestering each other.
Yeah, as long as they're comfortable. You'd almost rather that having someone you're outside than being sort of booted 10, 15, 20 lengths clear and knowing you're not going to last home.
Yeah, OK, fair enough. G, observations as they go on to the far side.
It looks like they've slowed it up a little bit in front, doesn't it? It was just Excitation, just starting to take a little bit of a tug. But I must admit, there's a little bit more pace on than I thought maybe there might be, and that will definitely suit Excitation. She took that one well as well. So let's hope in about how long? A couple of minutes' time, we can be getting excited about Excitations. That thing at the back, Da Vinci Code's closed right up, isn't it?
He is right on the outside. Marc Hryhorskyj, we're at about 5 out. What's the market saying then? Who's been the plunge?
Vision Dupois. I don't know how good my pronunciation was there again, but that one's currently trading at about 7 to 4 and running now. It's 2.8 to back, travelling quite well. But I'm not really sure how quick they're going here. Shantou Express is out to 5.4 around the 9 to 2 mark. Excitations. I mean, this one's 6.6, 11 to 2, travelling quite well. Vision Dupois is shortening up now, it's into 2.7. And Nordic Combined, that one's at 7.2, so just roughly around the 6 to 1 mark. It's Betfair SP 11.7. But I think this will turn into a sprint here. And Vision Dupois is well positioned here.
Around the right angle bend they go, the jockeys call it the tightest bend home straight in racing, and Chitabalco has now gone clear.
Stolen about 5 lengths, isn't he, on the lead here?
What's that said to the
gone down to 3 to 1 in running.
Yeah, so look, this is where you would imagine that the closers are going to have to make their move, and they are doing it. So we're coming to 3 out then. How much has he got left in the locker? Shantou Express hasn't enjoyed that move. Tell you what, Dino Velvet in the first time cheap pieces, this would be like since the old king died if he does it. He's absolutely winged that third last. Excitations is going right. We know that Vision Dupuis, he stays. Here comes Nordic Combined.
Excitation.
Could this be another one for Team Pipe? Excitation on the inside. Chitabalco starting to fold, or is he? Oh, just walked through that second half. Now they're going for it. Excitation needs to run. Oh, he's not going to get it at all. Unbelievable, because Dan Skelton goes clear. It was easy to back, but Vision Dupuis just needs to jump the last. Comes into it steady. Will Dino Velvet or Nordic Combined get him? Excitations was done in the run on the way to the last. This is another one for Team Skelton. We talked about the Jockeys Championship. Well, he's been winning them all through the week. This is a progressive hurdler going places, I think, because he's absolutely hosed up for Dan Skelton and Harry on board. Just hanging on to second was Nordic Combined. Excitations, perhaps a little bit unlucky in third. Dino Velvet doing what Dino Velvet does and finishes fourth.
Yeah, good race. Chitabalco perhaps finding the ground a little bit quicker than ideal. Maybe getting pestered on in the early stages didn't help.
He went gung-ho into that bend as well, didn't
he gave him every chance, didn't he?
Fair enough.
He traded short from sort of 12 to 1 down to 3 to 1 on the exchange in running, but just didn't have enough left in the locker, and it was always going to be the McManus colours carried to victory from some way out, unfortunately for those of us who opposed him. I think your Excitations has travelled strongly like he always does, but a bigger field, a stronger pace would suit him, and I'd be quite happy to back him to bounce back. Maybe something like the Swinton Hurdle even.
That's a great shout. Back at Haydock, of course, next month. Absolutely. Gee, I heard some groans from the mad professor, someone on the line. You knew your fate, didn't you? You often see that, on the all-weather in frat races, don't you see? If, for example, at Wolverhampton, you get held up on that bend and something comes sweeping past you, you just can't get them back. That was one where they all got each other's way. Harry Skelton went past, no coming back from that.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'd have won, to be honest.
He wouldn't have beaten it.
The winner has won by a long way, easily, as easy as you like. Probably maybe cost Excitation second. He did rally quite well afterwards. Couldn't quite get back to Nordic Combined. But bit of roughhouse riding there, wasn't there? Just to,
that's what I mean.
From Fergus trying to keep excitations in, but no doubt about the winner. I think that the winner is like there, and the rest are like there. Well, it's like the winner is in a different class.
He'll come back for the Swinton. Do you think Handicap will put him up now? Obviously, we looked at that Stratford run. We'll go to Marc Hryhorskyj in a sec. We looked at that Stratford run. The longer straight's been perfect for him, hasn't it? Sometimes it can be a bit deceiving, but
I mean, anything that can win from off the pace over hurdles at Stratford is generally worthy of an upgrade.
Yeah.
And he's got the decent gallop he needs there, and he's doubled up, and you'd be a brave punter to oppose him next time.
Yeah, maybe the Swinton Hurdle, we might just have seen a trial. We'll be covering that for you in the merry month of May. Marc Hryhorskyj then, you took him on. Whew, these Team Skelton, they know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah, it was very, very impressive from Vision Dupois there. I think the writing was on the wall coming around the bend. They certainly knew on the Betfair Exchange, currently training about 2.7. Shantou Express went right up to about 10.5. Excitations currently traded at 3.1 for just over 1,000. But the race was all over, jumping the last and quickened away impressively.
Super stuff. Thank you, Marc Hryhorskyj, joining us from Betfair all afternoon, showcasing the functionality of the exchange, showing you how it works, what you can indeed do. But we've got a bit of time now before the 2:25 at Musselburgh. Really long-standing, traditionally, this is a good 3-year-old handicap. We will get stuck into it. Don't worry. Keep your selections coming in, viewer interaction. We can have a bit of a chat amongst ourselves now. Jumps off flat, man, or everything, Andrew?
High-quality racing, whether it's jumps flat or weather, whatever. When I first
Southwell, so you know.
When I first got into racing, I was jumps through and through, and then looking at, I got sort of hooked on draw bias really, and I remember seeing a headline on the old Sporting Life where someone had it spark off on the TriCast at Thirsk back in all the high drawn runners in an amateur rider sprint handicap, and
that was your hook, was it?
That's right. And after that, they changed the formula for the TriCast to make it sort of the payout smaller if they were all drawn in the same area. So I just thought that was really clever. So then kind of set about trying to replicate that sort of punting really.
Favourite meeting?
Favourite meeting, Cheltenham Festival, Punchestown as well.
You'll be welcome back here if you're saying that with our viewers, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I guess really anyway you back a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in that crazy time, aren't we, in between? You sent in some selections this morning. You said, I'm not sure about some of these races. But this is an informative time, isn't it?
Yeah, this crossover period is not always a time to be getting too heavily involved. It's a time when you need to be conserving your bank a little bit for the big battles to come. I mean, we're going to have Guineas, we're going to have Derbies, we're going to have Royal Ascots.
Grand National, man.
Grand National next week. So we've got some fantastic racing to come.
Yeah.
And we just want to have a bit of fun today, don't we?
Let's just bring in Marc Hryhorskyj quickly with the National in mind. Cloth Cap, of course, potentially could be the shortest price winner since, well, absolutely. You have to go through all the scrolls, basically, Lord of the Rings stuff that far back before you find one. What price is Cloth Cap at the minute for the National, Marc Hryhorskyj, in the National, and does he win?
He's currently 7-2 on the Betfair Sportsbook at the moment. Cloth Cap. I'm quite keen on Any Second Now. Won well last time out, and obviously has that Cheltenham form. Obviously, he was a big price winner on debut. I think Jody McGarvey rode this one at 66-1 shot, and third string JP McManus, runner in Ireland. They don't win often, but I followed this one throughout his career. I'd be quite sweet on Any Second Now in the each way additional market.
Kim Muir winner for Ted Walsh, of course. Seabass, or have won it with Papillon. National winner Andrew Mount.
Not really spent a lot of time on the race at the moment. That's next week's job. But Disco Rama is interesting because he's a horse who goes well in big fields, off a strong pace. He's placed at 3 Cheltenham festivals, last seen running behind the conditional in the Ultima. Now, he missed the festival this year. Now, if you as an owner had a horse who'd placed at 3 festivals in a row, loved the hurly-burly of a big field, you'd be sort of have to have a good reason not to go there again this term, and that good reason looks to be the Grand National.
Jumps well, stays, good ground, no problem.
That's right. I mean, he's got a lot of seconds and thirds in his form figures as opposed to wins, but he was 50-1 a week or two ago. He's into 16-1 now. That suggests he's fit and well despite not being seen since December, and I thought he'd do for me. Is a sound enough jumper. Cloth Cap, would it surprise you if he jumped out in front and stayed there?
You are of the opinion that at some stage 7-2 might look big, aren't you?
Well, exactly. I mean, it was the same with Tiger Roll's second National, and people automatically... It's not the race it was in terms of jumping prowess needed, luck in running. And all these people are saying 7-2, Cloth Cap's too short. How much have you laid at 4-1, and how much do you want to lay? Because going out the second circuit, it could be evens or 6-4, and that might look a good price.
I mean, if you'd have said at the start of the season to John Joe and Trevor Hemmings, look, he'll win the Hennessy, we'll get the ground next time in his prep, he'll win a listed chase, you're going to get your runner in the National. It couldn't have gone any better, this prep. Why shouldn't someone back Cloth Cap at around about 7-2, just under 4-1?
Because it's a Grand National and there's 40 other runners in the race, and there has to be a better value bet than him at 7-2.
Which is? Come on, you're not on next week. You're not. You got a nice little hiatus. He's getting. That's going to take a month anyway, isn't it?
I'll be in the queue.
Might not be back till September. Whoever's looking at that, they're like, this is going to be a little while.
Well, I never ever have like a Grand National fancy, but I have had one all season since we sat in here together watching the Beecher Chase. Kimberlite Candy finished second when I was very strong on him that day, and you will not see a more eye-catching run than that Beecher Chase, because he drifted from 13-2 to 14-1. He was not fancied at all in the market. It was almost as if they thought he would need the run, and he was going around there for the experience as much as anything. And then he got himself into a terrible position right out the back after a first circuit, and you thought, well, you never win a Beecher Chase from there. And then coming out about 5 out, he was almost leading. It was an insane run, and then he got very, very tired and ended up getting beaten a mile by that thing that wins all the races round there.
Leon Rouge.
Leon Rouge has been round there a million times. But, I mean, it was the most eye-catching run for a Grand National trial I've ever seen in my whole life.
You put him up for the Beecher, because I remember when you could actually touch your scalp, you were sort of scratching your head, weren't you, and wondering what was going on.
I backed him straight after the race, the Grand National. Straight after that race, I backed him, and I've been backing him ever since. And I said to you, straight after that race, Tom Lacey will go there fresh, because Kimberlite Candy is best fresh, and he is going there best fresh. He'll definitely be fully wound up here. And I think he got a massive chance.
Absolutely brilliant. Massive chance for Kimberlite Candy. Not just all about Cloth Cap then. I think we're sensing that. All live here on RP Live. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the Grand National meeting. We'll be with you. And Dan the Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comes on to say Cloth Cap, the worst price in Grand National history. I may be wrong, but I can't see him winning.
You know when we were talking about horses who you said need everything to drop right? If you the start of this
He's the
season,
reverse of that, isn't he? I agree.
You would have said to me, Cloth Cap needs everything to drop right. Suddenly, all right, we'll switch tactics.
Cheap pieces. It was a revelation, wasn't he, in the Hennessy? Absolutely. So look, we're all live coming up next week. Get your National 1, 2, 3 in this afternoon. We'll give them a shout and a talk about it. Exciting times. Didn't even happen last year. Thank goodness we're back. But we must go back to Musselburgh for the 225. As I mentioned before our race preview, this is a tidy little race historically. Andrew will fill us in about that after Marc Hryhorskyj gives us his trade.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say is just I'll give you an update on the jockey titles. Obviously, Hryhorskyj just knocked the winner in there, so he's one in front. You can still get 1.57 on the Betfair Exchange for Hryhorskyj here. And obviously at Carlisle right now, you've got Brian Hughes is on a favourite right now, which is trading around 6-4, so it could be 131 apiece. So as I say, this market it does look quite volatile. But if you do fancy Hryhorskyj or Brian Hughes, that market is available on the exchange. But jumping on to the 225 at Musselburgh, I'm quite keen on Eve Johnson-Houghton's Tornadic here. It has taken a bit of a walk in the market here, which I wouldn't be too put off by it. It's currently 8.2 to back, 8.4 to lay. The stable's won from 3 in the last 2 weeks, 33% strike rate. Obviously won the Brocklesby last week, Triple A last weekend. I think Tornadic won well on debut over 7 furlongs at Lingfield on the 31st of July 2020. He was green that day and hit 22s in running with a Betfair SP of 7.8. Improved next time out at Salisbury and defied a £7 penalty on the 11th of September. Only defeat came last time out at Kempton on the 14th of October. Over a mile, travelled really well at Kempton that day with Betfair SP of 7.35 and hit 1.7 in running. Holly Doll got first run aboard State Occasion, which was decisive. But Tornadic showed an impressive turn of foot, just going down a short head. And I really think Tornadic will be suited by this long stretch at Musselburgh. I expect there to be a lot of pace on here early. Forest Falcon, Colonial Faulkner and Venture Mutiny will all be vying for the lead here, and I can see the pace collapsing if they go hard early. This will suit Tornadic, who's usually held up and travels strongly. So the selection for the 225 is going to be a back to lay with Tornadic.
Yeah, 8.2.
Yeah, I think that's a good price. £25 win, please.
£25 on Tornadic at 8.2. Okay, and Marina, you want to lay that back in running, Mark?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll lay that one back around 2.65.
2.65 for 25. Confirm, and then we'll have to
Keep
tick
that.
the keep.
Yeah.
Update. Okay, so that will get kept in running. So if the horse trades at 2.64, you'll have a bet to nothing.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Marc Hryhorskyj. OK, you've got around about 5, probably 6 minutes to copy that trade if you fancy it. One man that is going hand in hand with Marc is Graeme Rodway, because this is one of your stronger fancies of the day.
Yeah, this is my best bet of the day, but it's incredibly weak in the market, which is always a bit of a concern for a horse having his first run of the season. It just does ring a few alarm bells about quite how well they might be tuned up for the first time. Earlier on, I mean, for example, I backed him earlier in the day at 4-1. I think he's now trading at double that on Betfair, so that is a slight concern. But nevertheless, I think that if he is fully wound up, he must go majorly close, because the run behind State Occasion at Kempton last time was an incredibly good one. State Occasion was given the best ride in that race. Tornadic come from a long, long way off the pace and was closing him down right away to the line and got beat, I think, a nose.
I watched it. He's a little bit unlucky not to be 1-1-1-1, isn't he?
Absolutely.
So it's a rare trip to the track for the trainer as well. Only her 4th ever run here. No winners yet, but one of them did place.
Well, she won the Brocklesby, didn't she, last week?
She usually has hers, well, this was my thinking, she usually does have a stable well forward at this time of year, I always find, Eve. But the other one, there was I sort of had it between two, that and Heights of Abraham, and that's more solid in the market, so I'm hoping I'm not on the wrong one.
There's a collateral line of form with them both. A horse called Alban Man of Roger Varian's, who Tornadic just scraped home to beat the Salisbury on his second start. The Heights of Abraham, who's been one of the gambles for local trainer Keith Dalgleish, he beat that horse when albeit getting quite a bit of weight from him. So there shouldn't be too much between the two, was what I thought. He looks too big to me, Tornadic. I like Colonel Faulkner, though, however. Archie Watson, out of luck, wasn't he, with Stone Soldier in our previous one. Holly Doyle gets aboard this. It was a winner in France last time, so we can't tell you too much about that. However, it's 2 runs beforehand, the debut second and the third on to beat at Newcastle. That's rather strong form, and a mark of 83. I think he's much better than that. My slight worry about this, Andrew, is that he might, you know, if he's a horse that likes to get on with it, there might be a bit of pace pressure.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing. You look at these horses' last runs, most of them made the running, a lot of them winning. So I'm sure we're not going to see 7 of them try and get the
young
lead.
Horses as well, aren't they? So it's not always set in stone.
That's right. And of course, Colonel Faulkner is drawn near the inside as well, so it's going to be easier to maintain that prominent position, a bit like we saw with Marshall Dan in the last race.
Yeah.
Now, I'm with you. I mean, Archie Watson's had 20 runners at Musselburgh. 10 of those have won.
Brilliant.
If you bet them all at Betfair Exchange SP, plus £26.25 to a £1 stake. Holly Doyle's on board, lots of ticks and boxes. Been matched at 6.4 on the exchange last night. Now currently 3.5. So one of the gambles of the day, Colonel Faulkner. That debut form at Doncaster, that was fantastic. And
yes.
The winner placed in the listed company next time.
El Drama.
That's right. The 3rd, 4th and 5th have all won at least once since. And next time out, it's gone to Newcastle, where that forcing style wasn't ideal. And then last time in Deauville on the poly track, is won comfortably from the front. So we're guessing a bit with the tactics.
Yes.
On paper, it looks like they're all going to try and get the lead. But I'm sure the likes of Ventura Mutiny, who impressed over 7 furlongs here last time, making all, that was a field of 4, and it was perhaps just there weren't many other front runners in the race.
You can't take that too literally.
And it's stepping up in trip, first time out. But we should mention Richard Fahey's record in this race. He won the last renewal in 2019. He won it in 2017. In 2018, he had a 25-1 shot. It was drawn in the car park and stalled 12. Came from off the pace to grab second. In 2014, he had 2016, he had the runner-up as well, who also came from off the pace, beaten 3/4 of a length at 11-2. Tactics that are really tricky to pull off. So I'm with Colonel Faulkner, but I do respect both Fahey runners despite their wide draws.
I'm just looking down there. Yeah, absolutely. OK, so we're not too far away from the next at Musselburgh. I said historically this is usually quite a good race. William Haggas used to target this race. 2015 he won it with a horse called Balimbi, who went on to become a horse known as Travel First in Hong Kong. This used to be a bit of a breeding ground for the foreign buyers, this race. You can get Royal Ascot horses in this race, starting their careers out early. Well, I guess, why is it attractive to go to Musselburgh? Nice track, long straight, decent ground as the last 2 go in.
Yeah, and the prize money certainly in recent years.
There we are then. So you can tell that he's a bit concentrated now. This is nap time. He's got his game face on and away they go. Tornadic, a little bit rusty from the gates, but not as bad as Heights of Abraham, who's absolutely fallen out.
Yeah, that's big trouble for that because Heights of Abraham would have wanted to make the run in here, so he's tailed off last.
And this couldn't possibly do what Eton College did in the last race, could it?
Do. We thought Eton College wanted to make the run in, Dave.
Tornadic's got a lovely pitch towards the end of there, but they don't seem to be going that fast.
And he's upside Colonel Faulkner, but the two horses that are going for it, and I thought this would be the case, is Namoose. And where's Forest View?
The Johnson horse, is it?
Is that in third? Is that Colonel Faulkner out the back? It looks like it's a Miles all of a sudden, doesn't it? Very similar colours, but
Ventura Mutiny on the
he's
outside.
He's up there with Namoose, and Tornadic has absolutely got the run of the race.
He's a little bit free though, isn't he, Tornadic?
Stop worrying, man. It's absolutely fine. What's the matter with you?
3-1 in front at the moment, Namoose. That looks fair enough.
3-1 in front then as they turn in. Okay, so Tornadic got the run of the race.
Don't get caught in a pocket.
Forest Falcon catching the eye just in fourth.
No. Same colours as Eton College.
Must have got a little bit further back than Holly wanted because he's looking at it. He looks like very rusty horse to me at the moment. Heights of Abraham is absolutely flying. This couldn't possibly repeat the trick, could it? The one that's beaten is Stripe Red, the far outsider. So 2 lock horns, and it is Namoose bidding to make it 2 from 3 on turf. Here comes Forest Falcon.
The Johnston horse.
They're on a quick 3-time run. Who can Colonel Faulkner fill his lungs and pick them up? It's looking unlikely at this point as the two go on. Pace holding up then.
Johnson, win in front.
1-2 sus far. It looks like it's going to be on the rails, doesn't it, I think? And he's given a bit of weight to this Forest Falcon as well. In fact, he's given loads of weight to it. Really tidy performance, that, if you were on the Moose. Go Collect, Ben Curtis, Marc Johnson. Marc Johnson wins the first 3 races at Musselburgh today on a Saturday. He also has the second as well. I can see where this is going.
Doesn't train in Ireland, does he?
What did I say?
No, it's a bit like watching the Cheltenham Festival, isn't it? Like
Marco Johnson.
Just forget the form and just back whatever Marc Johnson's running.
He's only got 5 runners in the big race later on.
That nice and easy for us, and my nap goes in that, and it's not a Johnson runner.
Do you think his horses are just fitter here? Those two have come 5-6 lengths clear of the rest.
Probably.
My horse there is definitely not fully wound up there. I mean, he travelled very well into the race, but has found absolutely nothing. He needed the outing.
Colonel Faulkner was similar, very rusty early. I don't think he was in love with the track.
Same with Heights of Abraham. Wasn't
a remarkable race, isn't it? Okay.
These Johnson horses, they're so ready, aren't they?
Yeah. So just when you think, oh, there's a trend I can jump onto, we've got a sprint race coming up next at Musselburgh. He hasn't got one entered in it, and as Andrew alludes to, there are 5 in the feature as well. So we'll see if Marc Hryhorskyj can do something with us there with the Johnson runner. But Marc, you must have got a little bit excited there. Do you think they're right, fitness-wise, and what was the story of the race?
Well, I think Tornadic was in a great spot early on, and I just agree with Graeme. Just didn't find anything for pressure. Maybe definitely want to keep on side, but maybe just to see what sort of race it's in next time out. But Marc Johnson, definitely a man to follow at Musselburgh, and you want to be handy there, especially from the races we looked at so far. The winner on the Moose has hit 19s in running for £2 and £16 for 18-1. The second, another Marc Johnson or a Forest Falcon, I mean, that one's been matched as low as 1.36 for £291. So the in-running punters did think that one was going to come to challenge at one stage, but I think if you're punting a Musselburgh today, you certainly want to be handy. You don't want to be too far back.
Okay, that's something that we shall concentrate on. We're on the sprint track next. Really good sprint coming up for you.
Just watching the replay there, I don't think the Moose has ever been headed, so that's in running high of 19 is quite something.
Okay, so what do we do with the Moose next? He's so the horses that win these races, you're talking about Buckingham Palace type horses, maybe something there's something at Newbury coming up from mention as well. I mean, when he ran at Pontefract on that last run, it stank. The market was totally against him. I think he blew up in the preliminaries. It was ground that was horrible for him. He just fell in a hole, didn't he? He's a great big rangy sort. Both of these two horses, I think, will have fair summers, I think. Maybe the runner-up just looks like Goodwood Horse to me, where we associate Gosden. Anything from behind to Tornadic, what do we do with this race? 2
races, wasn't it? One between the first 2 and one between the rest. And I thought that Forest Falcon shaped quite nicely. Never looked really like getting past the leader, as Andrew said. They're just going to be horses that you're just going to see bounced out again and again and again and again. 3-year-old, tough, genuine Marc Johnson horses who will probably pick up another 3 or 4 races between them.
Let us know if you've been on the Johnson bandwagon so far. Then keep your social interaction coming. We must go up to Haydock for the 240, back over the jumps. Some of you will be delighted to hear. And I thought this was going to be a wide open staying handicap chase, but the future is bright. Marc Hryhorskyj seems to be clear favourite now.
Yeah, he's currently a 4.5 around the 7-2 mark for Christian Williams. Jack Tudor takes the ride. Check It Out as being quite popular this morning. I mean, that one was double figures. That's in at 7.8. But the one I actually like in this race is Innisfree Lad. Santos and Davis could potentially have ridden this one, but Tom Bellamy's on board, but it's not too much of a negatives. 9-year-olds, and obviously I do like an outsider, as you know. He's currently 29s on the Betfair Exchange right now. Moved from Tom Simmons to Matt Shepherd's this year. 2 runs so far have been encouraging. Solid third behind Fortescue on the 13th of March at Sandown. 9 lengths behind the second, Dan Skelton's DeBeachy, who's actually a non-runner here. It would have been £2 better off at the weights, but the former Carlisle on the 16th of February reads well, going down a neck to Betfair ambassador Paul Nicholls' Highland Hunter, who's now rated 145. With a BSP of 6.51 that day around the 11-2 mark, and hit 1.17 going down a neck, finishing strongly on that occasion. Innisfree Lad stays further and often travels well. However, obviously, Tom Bellamy takes a ride, and that is certainly not a negative. I think this one's overpriced here, so how we're going to play this one is we're going to have a win in additional place on Innisfree Lad.
Okay, 28.
Yeah, we're going to have a £25 bet on 28, yeah, on the win market.
5 in the win market, Innisfree Lad, 28, so that is gone on. 675 if that wins.
Yeah, and we're going to play the additional market. What we'll do is we'll play the 5-place market here, and we'll take advantage of that capability on the Betfair Exchange. It's trading around 3.4 right now. I'm happy to be a price taker at that.
3.4, 25.
Yep.
5 places on Innisfree Lad, 3.4. So
and we'll
80p match. So there you go. That's all been matched.
Just make sure we keep that. Thanks, Graeme.
Yep.
Good stuff. Trade on then in the 240 at Haydock. Where are we? We're about 8 minutes away from that, so plenty of time to hear your selections. Anything Aintree, let us know. What about the Irish Grand National on Monday as well? No Tiger Roll, of course, going to Aintree. Not for the National. Let's go over that one. He goes over the Mildmay fences for the Betfair Bowl. Okay, so Aintree, Irish Grand National, let us know. We'll talk about it. Let's go down the tips with this one, though. Andrew Mount.
Yeah, we've got 2 non-runners, both soft ground horses, so that obviously tells you what the trainers reckon to the ground there today. I mean, The Future is Bright is the one that I wanted to take on the original favourite with. He was a winner in first-time cheek pieces last time. That's a very positive angle for Christian Williams, and he's had 5 winners from 18 runners in first-time cheek pieces. 3 of the 5 followed up when in the headgear again next time out. So you'd make a £12.67 to a £1 stake at Betfair starting prices. You bet all those. He's likely to be prominent as well. He's open to improvement on this sort of ground over this sort of trip. So although he's now favourite, it is a fairly solid favourite.
Yeah, he is.
There's a stablemate as well, who's also in first-time headgear, this time in blinkers. Now, a smaller sample size for the yard's first-time blinkered runners, but the last one won at 25 to 1. And the one before that, second at 12 to 1 from just 4 runners. So he's had a wind up as well since his last run. He's another who'll like the ground. So yeah, my shortlist: The Future is Bright, Strictly Dancer, and Some Kind of King for Tom George, who was back to winning ways at Taunton last time on good ground when ridden by this jockey, who obviously gets on well with him.
Thomas Dogrel claiming 10.
That's right. And Tom George was quoted in the Racing Post this morning saying, "Don't read too much into the jockey bookings in this race. Tom gets on well with him." Now, of course, he's another one of these spring horses who needs good ground. Tom George has so many of them. The stable's flying at the moment.
Yeah.
7 winners in the past fortnight, including a 20 to 1 shot at Warwick. And he was denied winning opportunities last spring because of COVID and the first lockdown. And so a lot of those horses who've then had sort of 2 winters effectively on soft ground without a spring in between to run on their favourite surfaces, they're well handicapped as a result now. We're seeing quite a few of them whose last win was, say, March, April, May 2019, coming back to win this spring. That could be another good angle for the remainder of this month.
Nice.
So, yeah, and again, another tricky race where it's hard to, sort of nail it down to 1 or 2. Smuggler's Blues, Tom George.
Chased home the favourite last time at Fakenham. He looked for all the way like he was going to do him, didn't he?
That's right. And so again, another one who needs good ground and runs particularly well in the spring. So
he's just got a bit of Oliver Twist about him, hasn't he? Second. There's a little bit of that going on.
But in terms of sort of an each way shout, if you're all betting in the 4-place market on the Betfair Exchange, you're plenty of chances there.
All right, before we hear from G and myself on the selections, Andrew coherently putting a couple up. Let's see what else we've got coming in from our viewers. And Andy Sim comes back on. Crossley Tender, each way, has been consistent. Second in the Ida. Do you remember 35 days ago, we covered the Ida. The boys in the gallery were all over this. It looked like he was going to get there, And Sam's Adventure just pulled out a little bit more, didn't he, on the running. He does nothing wrong, Crossley Tender. I looked at this horse, G, and thought, is he still all right off 130? I think probably.
Yeah, why not? He just keeps running well, don't he?
You don't like this race at all, do you?
I thought it was very difficult. I thought Andrew just summed it up very well in the fact that you can make a case for quite a lot of them, and I don't really like betting in races where I can see loads and loads of dangers. And
it's a series final, though, isn't it? You know, so is it because one's not really grabbed your attention, like Check It Out, who's on the hat trick, for example?
Yeah, I mean, it would usually be the sort of race that I like, real tough competitive handicap chase, but. Yeah, I just kept looking and finding reasons why I could back this one, that one, this one, that one, this one. And then I started to think, well, I know at the end of the day I'm probably going to pick the wrong one. I'm going to be sitting here being on the wrong one. So maybe this should be a race I should sit out.
We'll just let you sit on the fence.
One thing with Crossley Tender, he is on the drift, and he's having run so well over 4 mile plus on soft ground last time. He's now coming back a mile and trip on a much quicker surface.
It's interesting that he's out, isn't it? Because you thought, well, I mean, 35 days break, but he seems to be going since we came back racing last year, doesn't he?
I mean, interesting about Check It Out, because after he won at Ludlow 9 days ago, Sam Twiston-Davies was quoted as saying there's a race for him at the Scottish National meeting. That might come too soon. And then here they are bringing him back to the track even sooner.
Not even under a penalty, are they?
Whether that was a slip of the tongue and he meant this race, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
But it is. I mean, he'll go on the ground. He jumped well at Ludlow last time, which is very tricky to jump since they've introduced those new fences. And Marlamade won this race when it was last run in 2019. That's his only win, though. And
he was third to, of course, the favourite and Smuggler's Blues 15 days ago at Fakenham. And I wanted to try and make a case of Marlamade because I thought to myself, well, he's absolutely chucked him, but he looks like he's lost the pot a little bit.
I mean, Alan King's basically said that in today's Racing Post when he's quoted saying, he doesn't look to be the same horse he was a couple of years ago.
Alexander Thorne on taking his weight right down as well. I ended up on a horse here, and this is basically a summer gan for me, if you like, because Versatility, I put him up last time, the ground totally went at Sandown. If you could have anything for Versatility, it would be a nice track like Haydock and decent ground over 3 miles. You go back to his Newbury form, we got beaten by a horse called St Bart's, who didn't really back up that form next time at Uttoxeter, although he clouted almost every fence. I thought, right, that was a good effort, this. I can see this chap coming into it late. And it's one of these where if you'd have said to me after Sandown, he didn't really look that interested in there. He's got blinkers on as well, but if you could have had anything for him next time, this would be it. So I've had to give him a chance.
Again, he was running first time after a wind-up in that Sandown race. That was the race in which De Becke, the non-runner here, was 2-1 favourite and second.
That's right.
And on that one,
beaten after halfway, wasn't he?
I mean, Harry Skelton's kicked for home a bit too soon.
Yes, he did.
First-time wind-up horses are profitable to follow in certain situations. Generally over jumps, it's 2 to 2.5 miles. 3 miles in the mud.
The jockeys will tell you that as well when you speak to them. That they believe in the Wind 2 or the W2 that you see, on the cards.
That's right. So I think both will improve for that. Well, Versatility, obviously, the only runner now, will improve for that. He'll like the good ground. So again, like Graeme says, it's a nightmare race. You can have 6 picks and not get one in the first 3.
I hadn't even looked at that one, Dave, and it was just kind of a great case for it. And I was like, I could make a case for that.
I think Kills is fancying it as well, actually. Again, it's one of these that might just leave their form behind, coming back onto the better ground. OK, Andrew Mount says you can fancy 6 in this. So if you tried to green up on your exchange, good luck to you. Just before I go off then, Marc, quickly give us the update on the market. The future is bright.
Yes, it's currently at 4.7, just around 7 to 2. A little bit of money for a checkout is currently into 7.2 around the 6 to 1 mark. It's been a bit of money for Tom George's runner, Some Kind of King. That's into 10 to 1, 11s on the Betfair Exchange. That one was matched as high as 17s. A bit of late money for Innisfree Lad as well. I mean, that's in at 24s, 23s. It's been matched around 33s, 34s earlier. The future is bright. I mean, it looks quite solid at the top of the bang here. It's 4.4 on the 7 to 2 mark, and this one's certainly going to go off favourite here.
Okay, yeah, and we've seen. Is he in the Cap du Nord colours? It looks very similar
yes.
to Cap du Nord colours, is it not? A young horse that basically Christian Williams has shown his training prowess, and 5-star Ghetto won the 150 there, didn't it?
Yeah, because
which is just right up the handicap.
A couple of fellas having a conversation in the middle of the course here.
As long as it's not a starter, Graeme, you won't get too hard.
No, the starter's up there doing his job.
As long as they're wearing face masks, it's okay.
Yeah, well,
I think he's taking photographs, that fella.
Good point, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so owners back on the racecourse, at least giving a little bit of crack. Please, we don't think it'll be too long before we get a pilot event. But at Haydock right now, we jump off for the 240. The very best of luck wherever you go. Let's call your horses in the run. Versatility takes up the inside under Nico, gives that plenty of air. Up there, the future is bright. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? He on a sharp track again. He looked like he needed all of Fakenham, the sharpest of tracks out there. This time, they're not going to let anything get away. He's in a better race and he's got a nice position, running enthusiastically in second behind. Check it out. On the outside, that looks to be, is that Marmalade that's having a good old go there? It is Marmalade, I should say. Marmalade, I should say. Looking for some of them out the back at the moment. Strictly a Dancer is going to ride his luck cold. Also Innisfree Lad, who's the selection, of course, of Marc Hryhorskyj. He's there. Silver Eclipse, a nice progressive horse coming back into form. He is
Some
there
Kind of King, not far away either there. And,
this is exactly what he did at Taunton, wasn't it?
Yeah, and when he ran in this race 2 years ago, finishing third to Marmalade, he was best of the hold-up horses that day, beaten about 15 lengths, but he was given too much to do. He's more prominent, which is encouraging for his backers.
And absolutely, Team Tom George doing their homework on future runs. What sort of gallop are they going, G? Looks like they're concertinaing a bit to my eye.
Yeah, I don't think they're going that fast at all. It's obviously a 3-mile race, so you're not going to get bonkers pace anyway, even on this ground. It's amazing is that these fences don't look anywhere near as daunting as the old ones, do they? Since they changed them. When was that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 10?
11, 12.
How many years we're going back now?
So many picks we've had in this race.
Okay, we're all over the fifth safely, though. I can tell you that
these
much.
These fences, they look like big hurdles, don't they?
Can we reminisce about Twin Oaks while we're...
Well, yeah, absolutely. Don't go there. I spoke to Mick Fitzgerald yesterday. Some of the horses we were reminiscing about. It's brilliant to go down memory lane, isn't it? Haydock, of course, some of the Tommy Whittles, the Peter Marshes that we've seen. This is a different kettle of fish, but horses that have got their ground. It's great to see them all enjoying themselves out there. Prophet, if you're on that one for Team Williams, Venetia's horse, just maybe not the jumping of the best so far. What's that out the back as well?
Marc's pick, Innisfree Lad, going pretty well, currently trading around 11 to 1 on the exchange.
He hit a purple patch, didn't he, earlier in the season? And again, you're thinking to yourself, as the handicapper got him, but he's sort of shown himself to still be all right, Marc. G?
No, surely one of these two in front's just going to win, aren't they, from here? They're getting such an easy here.
I can't remember if Marc...
It's Marmalade in front.
Oh, I thought it was Marmalade.
It is. You can back him at 11 to 1 on the exchange.
Yeah, I mean,
he does like to get on with it. He's beaten 40 lengths, though, by The Future is Bright last time. He was right on his coattails. And I don't know, without the cheap piece, this is going to be a...
I know, he's enjoying it, isn't he?
They'll have him in, I think, if he wins this, won't
enjoying
they? I mean, but he is, of course, weighted to do it. Versatility, not the most fluent, but travelling well in between the fences. Innisfree Lad making up, making sure they go a little bit quicker now, isn't he? Tom Bellamy on the outside. Some Kind of King does catch the eye. Exactly what he did when he was winning at Taunton last time. Still well handicapped on Old Farm. Crossley Tender, the real popular Crossley Tender. There was a mistake there, G. Was that from Strictly a Dancer?
Yeah, it was... Silver Eclipse, was it?
Silver Eclipse, the grey horse. One of two grey horses.
This is the danger about in-running betting. Because they've gone slowly, there's so many horses travelling well. You're drawn to one. You think, oh, that's travelling strongly. I'll have a click. And next thing, you've bet 6 horses for the same reason.
Basically summed up what I do in the call there. That shows why I don't bet in running so much. Because we call it the curse here in the studio. How many times have we seen one going, either come off the bridle or they clout one, and that was Strictly a Dancer.
This is looking good for Marc's selection, making a big move up here. Innisfree Lad.
Okay, Marc, let's go to you. We've got a circuit pretty much to run.
Yeah, I'm happy with Innis Free Lad, the position Tom's got him in at the moment. He's currently trading at 7.8. It's just around the 7-1 mark. This one does stay, so definitely in the right spot. It's not going to get done for a turn of foot. The future is bright. I mean, this one's out to 4-1 at the moment. Silver Eclipse is big drifter here. Is out to 20-1. BSP 7.7. The other one is Mallarmaid. That's currently trading at 11-1 and running. This one's quite handy. But yeah, Innis Free Lad certainly got a run here. I would be disappointed if this one's out to 5 here.
It's not Marmalade, it's Marmalade.
Oh, we're calling it marmalade. Absolutely, you can tell.
And if he gets hampered, will he be a marmalade sandwich?
Oh, very good. Let's hope not. Okay, over they go then. All right. So Prophet looks like he's cracking a little bit, doesn't he? Some kind of king, just getting a little bit of a shake up there. Something else got a whack there. Was that Silver Eclipse? He was a big drifter, wasn't he? But it's the Marmalade horse, absolutely. Alan King, horses for courses. He's won this race before. The future is bright. Crossley Tender starting to get into it. Sneaky for him. Versatility still going well. Strictly a Dancer and Smuggler's Blues at the back as well. Interesting.
Oh, lovely.
More
lovely
patient
from Innis Free Lad. Great jump. Put him in front.
And Prophet then, I think we can put another 0 on him. He's got about 5.
The race is hotting up now, Dave.
This other Tom George horse, Smuggler's Blues, is coming into it.
And they're riding him more patiently. Do you think they think we must have gone too soon last time when the future was bright? So it's a reverse tactics here, isn't it?
Exactly. And the Christian Williams second string, Strictly a Dancer, coming there on the inside in the green and black colours.
Good jump by the Fav.
The Fav has gone for it, hasn't he? So, and this is where Marmalade is really starting to go now. Marmalade, of course. Silver Eclipse coming back onto the bridle.
No.
Smuggler's Blues not done with. Check it out. Looks like he's finding this come a bit too soon. Versatility. If he can get around the bend with about 4 or 5 in front of him, he will be running on at the finish. All to play for then.
He won't be.
You think this is all?
You can have 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Well, can I now? Okay, fair enough.
This is going to one of the first 2. I'm not sure which one yet.
Okay, cue the third coming in, and that's Silver Eclipse.
Christian Williams won 2 by the looks of this.
Strictly Dancer's going really well. Christian Williams, one of the great guys out there, was staying chased, isn't he? Well snaffled, etc. Over they go. We can hear Marc getting a bit excited there. Okay, all the future's bright. Jack Tudor having a look between his legs. Confidence
he likes what he sees.
Smuggler's Blues is coming back to him. Come on then, what do we got then? Coming up, what are we? 3 out now, isn't it, Haydock? You'll never know at Haydock until you start calling these races how many are there. Okay, so it is The Future is Bright off the bridle now. Comes Innis Free Lad. Smuggler's Blues. Has he got it in him to go and get his old rival? There's only a £2 swing between them. Strictly a Dancer. Silver Eclipse still there as well. 5 in with a chance. Jumping 2 out. But The Future is Bright, the young horse. Just a £2 rise. The handicapper's thinking, what did I do last time at Fakenham? I should have whacked him up 7. We've got one more fence to go if you're on this. Let's see how he gets up. Innis Free Lad still there. Whoa, wings it. Innis Free Lad. Can he get him up the run in the tough? Innis Free Lad is going to come second. It looks again.
He's coming back.
The future is
going to
get him. He's going to get up. He gets up. Come on, Marc Hryhorskyj. Hey! Up he gets. A great shout from the Betfair pundit out there. Superb. Oh, you can hear the guys in the gallery are going mental as well. They must have enjoyed that one. If you're on the Fav, you're thinking, what happened? I had it jump in the last. The pandemonic scenes are here finally in the RP Live studio. 18-1 was the industry SP. Marc Hryhorskyj, are you still with us or have you fainted, man?
Yeah, we'll take that. I think I was a bit unlucky with pressure luck last week, but we'll take a 28-1 winner here. I thought the second would have been a bit short. There was traded 1.11 for £818, but I was confident coming around the bend because this one stayed. Great ride from Tom Bellamy. I'm chuffed with that, and obviously some charity for Greatwood. So winners all round happy.
Oh, well done, Marc. Great show. And G, did you get the message to cancel the in-running lay halfway round?
Luckily, Dave did him a massive favour by saying halfway up the run that Innis Free Lad was going to finish second again.
It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan here. But it did look like the young future, I don't know, the future is bright. I know you think the future might, he's still got more to come. Jack Tudor had a look between his legs, didn't he, and must have thought, I'm going all the way. Of course, at Fakenham last time, he had the hair to chase, didn't he? I'm wondering whether he might have idled slightly. But for a horse that started, Matt Shepherd, a long time ago this season, to keep holding his form like this, he really winged that last, didn't he?
Yeah, there's another one of these ex-David Dennis ones that went to Tom Simmons and then now at
moved on.
And been a good year for the owners. But yeah, the favourites run well there. And again, another Haydock race where you think the ones on the front end are going to get collared and something's going to come from off the pace that's travelling, and they just don't get there. Yeah. I mean, there were plenty who took it in turns to look like they were going to get involved from the back, and they just didn't.
Yeah, Strictly a Dancer. I think 83-day break, the wind up, you gave him a case beforehand. there's another one in him, isn't there, this season, I think?
Yeah, very much so. He's travelled well in the first time headgear. And the Tom George second string as well.
Was that Smuggler's Blues?
Smuggler's Blues, yeah. I mean, Some Kind of King made a couple of niggly errors and seemed to be one of the first beat. That was very disappointing. But
Yeah.
Smuggler's Blues, under a patient rider, looked like he was going to get in there and play a hand at the finish, but didn't go through with it.
And of course, finished second to Future is Bright last time at Fakenham GC. Handicap in the race, which a lot of people like to do. That gives it some, some form, Daisy, doesn't it? It's nice and solid.
Yeah, well, he's a frustrating horse, isn't he, Smuggler's Blues? He smuggled him into it, and you didn't ever think he was going to get to those two, and he didn't. I just wonder, is he another one of those who they think needs to be given like kid glove sort of ride, and maybe just forget that and just go and make it simple and put him out there towards the front?
Smuggler giving you the blues if you were on that. Well, great scenes then. Happy days. And the charity, it is Greatwood we're playing for in April, has just got a lovely boost, courtesy of Marc Hryhorskyj from Betfair. Wasn't that great stuff? We're around about 10 minutes away then from one of the feature races of the day, back up at Musselburgh. Here come the sprinters, 5 furlongs. It's a fast sprint track, Musselburgh, usually towards the near side. That's high numbers they go. Sprint Cup, it is Class 2. If you calm down, Marc, would you please give us the update on this market?
Yeah, it was about time I broke my duck, but as I say, we'll take a 28-1 winner. But moving on to Musselburgh, let's see if we can get another one here in the Scottish Sprint Cup. I'm quite keen on Tim Easterby's Copper Knight. Very useful sprinter, but losing run is beginning to mount up. Has gone well fresh previously, potentially very well treated on return to action. With Ella McCain's claim, only off 82 here. Was competitive with Marcs in the hundreds last season. Traded shorter than the BSP on the last 5 runs. Cataract 17th of October it was BSP 14s and hit 7:01. And 9th of October at York was 6.54 on the BSP and hit 4.7. I really like the short head second to McCanna on the 6th of June at Newmarket and the win bigger on the Betfair Exchange Handicap. I think this gives Copper Knight an outstanding chance this afternoon. And it's 1 off 102 by that day at Newmarket. And I mean, it's off 82 at Musselburgh here. I think this one's overpriced. It's currently 9.6 on the Betfair Exchange. So we're just going to have a straight £50 win on Copper Knight at 50.
Yes, I like it, Mark. No, we're pressing up, are we? £50 on Copper Knight at 9.6, and that has been accepted. So if that wins, then the charity are going to be in for an absolutely fantastic day, aren't they?
Playing his joker here, double bubble.
Well, absolutely. And Copper Knight is a horse that we all know, of course, 7-year-old. I thought it was actually older than that. He's one of 2 in here for Tim Easterby. Now, I want to come to you with this, Andrew. So we know that Copper Knight, Marc, now all of a sudden, he got the wind between his tail all of a sudden. Ella McCain on. It's interesting jockeying bookie. This got a high draw, but historically, Tim Easterby, I could find, you probably do the same as I found 22 runners in the past 10 years in this, 3 places.
Yeah, one of those places was Copper Knight though, when this race was last run in 2019. Finished 4th that day at 10-1 in the field of 16. Now he came from off the pace, and he also raced down the middle of the track from stall 8 when the first 3 were hard up against the stand start. I think it was something like 17, 15 and 13 for the first 3 home that day. Now, if he's ridden more prominently, and the Ella McCain booking suggests he might be, as she does tend to go from the front, then I thought he had a great chance here. He's one of 2 I've bet, the other one being Jabberwocky. Now, going back to Copper Knight's last run, this was an astonishing one. This was the Catterick Dash Handicap.
Yeah.
Soft ground at the tail end of last season. It's one of those back-end Catterick races. You've got to be drawn high on the soft ground and come down the stands rail.
Near side, yeah.
They've gone like the absolute clappers. Copper Knight's raced a load on the far side, and is one of them taking the runners along. The 2 who fought out the finish, Count D'Orsay and Just Another Bottle, have come from miles back. The winners have virtually tailed off at one stage. The pace has collapsed. Anything that raced on the front end that day can be forgiven, and Copper Knight fits the bill there. And I thought he'd run a good race. He comes to hand early in the season. A lot of his wins are sort of May, June time. Tends to go off the boil after that. He's probably better at York, but he has run.
Well, there's another track that springs to mind, isn't there? And we didn't see any of it last year, and it's Chester, of course. I think he's 1-1-0-2 there.
Right.
And if I think it is that big May meeting that they have. I think he's run well there a couple of times. Low draw at Chester. I must admit, I looked at him and Count D'Orsay from the Tim Easterby yard. Both I think have got very good chances. Count D'Orsay on paper. However, when you look and delve into these sprinters, I'm going to come to you in a second, G, once we get Andrew's tip with this. But we can trust a little bit more the older sprinters, can't we? Pace maps, run style, marks, all that.
Who goes well first time out?
What tracks they like.
Yeah. I mean, big fields, small fields. I mean, Tarbouche is one who likes this track, but 10 of his 11 wins since his maiden victory have come in fields of 9 or less.
Yeah,
the other one was in a big field at Doncaster, but he only raced with about 4 on his side.
He's got a remarkable turn of foot, Tarbouche, but he does want softer ground. He does tend to come to hand when you start to forget about it.
He'll be sort of coming back here for a conditions race later in the season, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, so just another bottle. I thought he was flattered, as was Count D'Orsay, by that Catterick run. And Zarzini's the one that there was a lot of money for.
Everyone's put him up today.
I mean, people say, he's a bit unlucky at Wolverhampton on his British debut, but unlucky seems to be his middle name, because every time he's had a big field, he seems to receive comments like switch, not clear run, hampered. He could find trouble in an empty room. So you've got to worry about those. And I think he's going to be the hard luck story of the race. I can see him, particularly from that high draw and hold-up tactics, coming back in trip. They're all going to converge up the stand-side rail. You're going to need luck. I mean, you do get a number of horses win from low draws here, usually because it just means they're guaranteed a clear run if they're switched wide down the middle and the pace collapses. But I'm with Jabberwocky. Possible pace angle, great record when fresh. Last 4 seasonal debuts, 3 seconds and a win. One of those seconds by a neck. So Jason Hart, he rides sprinters so well. He's got a nice high draw. He'll be prominent. He was 8-1 when the betting opened earlier this week. He's been steadily backed throughout. He's about half that price now. So I've bet 2 each way, Jabberwocky and Copper Knight.
Yeah, again, he's one here, isn't he? And the first time out angle, I totally get that. He's an 8-year-old now. For me, he's a bit too short now. Just another bottle angle I quite liked. I thought that run last time out on the Tapita, which was probably in everything he doesn't want. Small field, not really an all-weather horse around a turning track. He fell out the gates and was rushed up. I thought he would come on a lot for that. There's not a lot between him. There's not a lot between him and Count D'Orsay and Jabberwocky. We know that there's loads of collateral form there. I thought of all the horses that were drawn high that was likely to run their race, for me, Just Another Bottle was it. So tentatively, I've put him up the 7-year-old, Graeme Rodway.
It was another race that I thought I would sit out. A very difficult sprint handicap where you really want to be drawn high, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if something low won. I did do some research for this race for the preview for the paper, and just was interested in whether having a run or not made any difference with these sprinters. And
it does.
I think it's a fairly even split. But I tell you what the difference is this: you've had a run, the market tends to take that into account a bit more. So the market likes the horses that have run, and you can see that in this market. I think you've got Zarzini. You've got Just Another Bottle, you've got Mockatil and Caspian Prince are the 4 horses who have had the run recently, and they make up, 4 of the top 6, 7, 8 in the market. So, I'm not saying that having a run isn't a positive, because it's fine, but it is something that I think is overplayed in the market. Well
found in the market. And so you said that you did the preview for this race. Was it one that just made you go, no, there's too many angles in here?
It's too early in the season for me for these big sprinters. I just don't know what horse is going to be absolutely right first time out. And these are the sorts of horses who, I guarantee you, this season will beat each other about 3 or 4 times over the course of each season. They will face each other, and it will literally just be a case of who gets the best run, who's best handicapped on the day in the next time, who's fittest. But of course, this time you have got to factor in this race who is going to be ready first time up and who isn't. Now, if you're good at doing that, then that might well be your angle in this. If you've found a way to find who you think might be fit in this race, but I just couldn't.
Well, Jabberwocky, you think, with the first time out angle, and Eric Alston, his trainer, the veteran trainer, has had 3 runners. One of them has managed to win his last 3 runners, so no problems with that whatsoever. Wide open race, isn't it? Okay. Zarzini, Marc. Andrew says he tends to do this in his races, find a way to get beaten. Does the exchange back that up?
They're not. They're looking like they can't really separate on the top of the betting area. Jabberwocky's 5.6, Zarzini's 5.6 as well. It does look very, very competitive here. In the 3 o'clock at Musselburgh. Just to give you a quick update on the Jockey's Tell, Brian Hughes just rode a winner at Carlisle in the 248, so it's actually 131 apiece. Obviously, that market is available on the Betfair Exchange. Harry Skillen's currently 1.54, Brian Hughes 2.44 on the Betfair Exchange for the title, which ends on the 24th of April. But again, there's going to be lots of twists in this one. Brian Hughes has got a couple more fancied rides this afternoon at Carlisle, so he could plausibly be 2-3 in front by the end of today. But yeah, just looking at the 3 o'clock Musselburgh, there's not really been any massive market movers here. And this one's going to be short and fast. But Zarzini is a tricky character, and one that I wouldn't really want for win purposes, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, I think there is a general agreement that if he's going to need the front runners to come back. It looks to be lots of pace across track. A couple we haven't mentioned. I want to mention Came From the Dark. This is Ed Walker, first time Windop back. A horse that promised to be better than him at Mark of 99 at times last year, Andrew.
Yeah, he improved for the drop to 5 furlongs. He loves soft ground, loves Haydock. I don't think he's won anywhere except Haydock, actually. And he's been gelded and had a Windop since his last run. Now, he's going to appreciate the likely strong pace, but again, that also means he's going to need trouble in running. And if he tries to come with a run towards the stand side and everybody else wants to be in the same spot, then there's going to be horses.
Doesn't matter, Andrew. We've got Holly Doyle on it. She'll find a way. She always does.
She'll find a way. Yeah, remarkable. Another one I wanted to mention. There are others we haven't mentioned it. We've got to mention Caspian Prince, of course,
because he's won the race before. He's a 12-year-old now. I mean, Mick Appleby, his trainer, is
he's on a hat trick in the race, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And he also won it back in 2014 with Demora. So he obviously targets this race. Caspian Prince, just brilliant from
12-year-old now.
And he was winning as recently as September. So
yeah, and he's on a mark of 100, which you might think is quite harsh for a 12-year-old, but 106 he won this off in 2000.
We've seen horses like Ornate on the all-weather, albeit a little bit younger than Caspian Prince, but from the same mould, like an out-and-out lunatic front runner.
Yeah, and he's drawn in 6, isn't he? So if you're drawn low, if you're thinking, they're all talking about high draws, that's your hope, isn't it, that you latch onto him?
I would imagine he'll break and probably still get across to on or near the stand side rail anyway.
Interesting. That's interesting, isn't it? Of course. So will they make a beeline for the stand side, as they often can do? Okay, couple more minutes to go. Good luck wherever you're playing.
So you should also mention Victory Angel, about 50 on the exchange. But
talk to me about this chap.
Yeah, well, from a yard we've talked about a lot earlier, that of Harvey Basterman, and he's 2 from 2 in course and distance handicaps. Albeit at a lower level, but he obviously loves the track. He's reasonably drawn in the middle in stall 8, and yeah, big price.
I remember this chap now. Of course, he started off with Roger Varian, didn't he? And then went to where did he go? Sorry, I should know this. It was a bit of a curveball throwing that one. He went to Robert Cowell, of course, the Sprint King, Robert Cowell. He's Victory Angel. He used to run in green and white quarter colours, didn't he? That's right.
Yep.
And he would run in some.
Yeah, he won. He won a race at the Craven meeting one day. I think I was there.
Yes.
And he looked like he would be a very, very good sprinter going forward, and it never quite happened for him.
Just found the level, didn't he? But Harvey Basterman, we wish you luck, the Basterman team.
His 2 runs for the yard came in September after a recent outing, but he didn't run badly first time out last season. He was 4th, 50-1.
You're talking about a horse that's 2 from 2 here, and it's 40-1, Andrew. You have said enough. No problems there. Okay, so you're enjoying the afternoon. We've not got that long left, believe it or not. Just 2 more races to come. We'll be back for the final race at Musselburgh at 3:35. At 3:15 we go back to Haydock for what Graeme Rodway will probably tell you is another impossible looking handicap hurdle there as well. It is the Challenger Series Stayers final over hurdles. So plenty more action to get your teeth stuck into. Let us know again. Keep your national winners coming in. Are you taking on Cloth Cap or are you with him? Perhaps you've got big prices about him. Let us know. Keep everything coming watching on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Facebook Live. High up. Welcome to the show. Myself, Dave Orton, Andrew Mount, Graeme Rodway and Marc Hryhorskyj. He's on a high from Betfair as well. We're playing for charity all the way through the month of April for Greatwood, which is a great cause. Look up their website. And if you've had a good day, maybe show them a little bit of love as well. Oh, we've got a social on the screen talking about some more viewer interaction coming up. That courtesy of Alan Waltham. Good to have you back, Alan. Tarbouche each way in a toughie. Well, hopefully Andrew's given you a line about that. Orval's a horse in here I want to talk about as well. Latin 5. Basically, Paul Midgley's thrown a few darts at this as they go into the stalls.
That's often the way. I don't think he's won it, or Line of Reason, I think, might have won it or placed in it.
These very famous colours that he has, yeah. Sun and Sani as well for him. Horse that's definitely got more to offer this year.
Mocketil's one we haven't mentioned as well.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Williams, winner of 2 of his last 3 starts. Got beaten in his hat-trick attempt last time, but that was at Wolverhampton, and his sire Lethal Force doesn't do brilliantly at that track. So coming back to turf should suit. He's won in the spring on turf before. I think it was April at Nottingham a couple of years ago. And the market says he's going to run a big race. He's 8.6 now, having been much bigger earlier. I think.
Mark, you're concurring with that, are you? Has there been support?
Yeah, this one's been matched as high as 36. He's 35 to 1 on the Betfair Exchange, £10 match. But there's been a relentless money for Ian Williams, Mocketil here. A little bit of late money for Paul Misley's Orvar, Ben Curtis. This one was around 70s, 80s. This one's in at 46s. And obviously Paul Misley certainly knows the time of day and does well at Musselburgh. Copper Knight's a slight drifter at 10.5, but obviously the late money on the exchange and the market mover here is Ian Williams, Mocketil. PJ McDonald takes the ride.
He's a great trainer to have anything to do with, as an owner. He's got like a WhatsApp group, and he'll advise you on your horses. Late money coming from Mocketil as they prepare to go off. Just another bottle, getting a little bit worked up. In stall 11.
Yeah, really worked up, is it?
Yeah, it looks like just another bottle. They're all in. There's a slight delay
He's
here.
reared up and missed the break in his last 3 starts.
I didn't want to know that, Andrew. Don't tell me.
He did win one of them at least.
Okay, happy days. Happy days. Okay, what have we got? It's another one that's just waiting out the back, isn't it? In stall 8. Let me look down there. So, that's Victory Angel, isn't it? Okay then, good luck in the Sprint Cup, the Scottish Cup, and they're off and running. And Just Another Bottle's absolutely fine. He's got out and he does make the beeline for the stand-side rail. He's going to get that alongside Jabberwocky. In fact, Jabberwocky does now go on. In fact, he's leading Caspian Prince. Andrew's called it right. They're making a beeline. Low number's going to struggle a little bit then, do we think? Sun and Sani, he's up there for Luke Morris, finding a little bit of trouble. Out the back, Mocketil, the Gamble Tarbouche is out there as well.
Come on,
Count
Jason.
Dorsey. Go on, G.
Who's going to sneak up the rail here? There's just leaving a little bit of a gap in the rail.
Copper Knight's going all right, isn't he? Looking for Count Dorsey as well. Jabberwocky got a freebie. You've got to be happy, Andrew, at the minute.
Yeah, looking good. Late move came from the dark down the far side in the middle of the track. The grey, about 3 to 1 on the exchange, but long odds on Jabberwocky.
Here comes Zarzini trying to find his way through.
Keep going, Jabberwocky. Keep going, Jason.
I think it's not Jabberwocky might have gone here. Zarzini stays further, doesn't he? Jabberwocky, first run of the season. Here comes Zarzini's big tipped up by everyone. Here comes Holly. Holly on the outside. Oh, woohoo!
Just got that.
Do you think?
Just held on.
Oh no, it's they're betting on the exchange. It's 1.36.
So basically, what has happened is Jabberwocky has made a massive bid to make all. Holly Doyle, Holly will find a way, said Graeme Rodway. They've gone, I'll tell you what, eyeballing each other. Zarzini looks sure to do it. I think he's the one that's probably been done, isn't he?
Head down, head up.
Yeah.
I thought it was just hang on, Graeme Rodway. Looks like he's right, doesn't he?
Just
Tricky angle. You said that with such confidence, didn't you? I like it. So listen.
They call it the other way.
Andrew Mount, well done to you, my man.
They haven't called it yet.
The cameraman's going with him, man. They haven't called him yet.
You can still bet 1.13 on the exchange.
There are certain channels you'll be more at home at not calling that, Andrew, I can tell you, but not here on RP Live, we like to call them. I'll tell you what, he's taken some pulling up as well, looking at that, hasn't he? So
Yeah, cracking run. I mean, win, lose or draw, and it surprised me by making the running. I thought Caspian Prince might be able to get across. Just Another Bottle did his usual play up at the start. I mean, he used to be an out-and-out lunatic front runner, but he just seems to have his own ideas about the game at the moment.
Maybe back at another track for him. You might be right there. Zarzini, I mean, Barry Orr comes on the show, doesn't he? Jabberwocky has been confirmed, Andrew Mount. I can tell you that much.
Oh. Can I go
more confidence,
get my coat?
You can. Listen, always lovely to have a debut winner on this show. Let's hope you went in with him. There was a lot of support for this horse. Eric Alston, one of the great characters of the game. He's basically just done what you do at Musselburgh. Get out on that rail and try and keep going. They've drifted a little bit. 3 came clear. Zarzini, Barry Orr comes on this show and tells us about horses that go low in running. This must be an absolute serial offender, I think. The obvious eye catcher came from the dark, who came from absolutely nowhere, didn't he, G, down the middle? You don't want to be there.
Yeah, no, he ran a big race for a horse who I think would probably want softer ground. It was just a perfect setup for Jabberwocky, wasn't it? He was well drawn. He got to that rail. Once he got there, he was always going to be difficult to pass because they were going to have to come round him. Typical 5-furlong sprint. And full marks to him because I thought they were all coming to get him towards the line, but he did keep on and stick his head right down, didn't he?
Yeah, full marks to him. I think Copper Knight, Marc, look out for him at Chester. He showed lots of early pace. He's going to be all the better for that run, isn't he?
Yeah, had every chance there. Was in the perfect spot by Ella McCain there. I mean, it's only went as low as 6, around 5-1 in running. Surprisingly, the second and the third here, Zarzini's only actually hit around 2.1, so around the 11 to 10 mark for small money, £13. I thought that one would have went a bit shorter. The big eye catcher, Holly Doll on the outside there, came from the dark. Obviously on the wrong side, you want to be on the stand side. That one's actually only hit 2.2 in running as well. But definitely a couple of eye catchers there. I'll probably take came from dark. But as again, Jason Hart, just from the front, bag that rail, that's where you want to be at Musselburgh.
Absolutely. Okay, Marc, we'll stick with you as well because we go for the final time today up to Liverpool and Haydock Park. Really enjoying the action there, back over the jumps. Real drama we had in the last race. Marc, you had it right off within his free lad. Who's the trade, please, in the 315?
The 315, my selection, there will actually be no bet in the selection. I was actually going to play Slay Ashtown Lad, who's now a non-runner. Dan Hryhorskyj pulled up last time out, obviously had a wind up. I wanted to take this one on in the place market, so there'll be no bet in this race, unfortunately from my end. But it did look quite competitive. Small Prisms, it was a good winner last time out for Sue Smith. That leads the bet at 4.6 to back, 4.7 to lay. I will do it 7.2 for Sam Thomas, and Republican Johnny Burke, Oliver Sherwood. This one's seen a lot of supports. 8.8. This one was bigger prices, double figures this morning. And obviously you've got Nicky Henderson. This one sort of went under the radar. Colonial Dreams 11 to back, 11.5 to lay, so around the 10-1 mark. But there'll be no bet from me here because my original selection that I sent in earlier was Ashtown Lad Place Lay. So as you say, you don't have to bet in every race. So I'll sit this one out.
No, you don't, but I would like us to put a trade on, if you don't mind, in this race, Marc. For charity, I'm going to take the mantle because I'm quite interested in the fact that you've got quite a wide variety of place markets here, haven't you? And Silent Assistant is a horse that looks like it might have been laid out for this for me. It was a quiet run. I say quiet run, some people are screaming at the telly saying, can't say that. What I mean is they ran him over 2 mile 4 last time at Market Raising in as good a race, if not better than this. John Joe horse called Prince Escalas just kept going. Gunsight Ridge was second. That was really fancied by Team Murphy. The 2 went clear. 2 mile 4 around Market Raising, not what Silent Assistant wants. Go back to his start of his career this season. He has got a race like this in him. For your man, Tom Bellamy, what price can I get in the places? Let's have a little trade for charity, please.
Are you looking for a winning place here, or just an additional place here, Dave?
I just want to go for the place.
Okay.
If he wasn't coming off a 10-day layoff, I would be confident that he could win this race.
You're scared of getting told off by Betfair Barry, aren't you? If you do the winning place, and Betfair Barry will be after you if you don't come up with a winner, won't he?
He's coming back on Thursday as well, so you've found me out.
You just want to play it safe.
Well, no, I'm happy to do a win in the place, but I just think he will come in. I'm pretty certain he's going to come in the top 5.
Come on, Dave, what do you want to do?
He's been in
It's for charity, guys. I need this to land.
He's been in the first 4 in 6 of his last 7 starts, so maybe the 4-place market's the way.
I'm telling you, 4-place market. Andrew Mount, that's why he's here. Come on, Marc, get the trade on, my man.
The 4-place market.
Dave, you know what? I'll give you 6 places, all right? Just to be safe. He's 2.7 the back in the 6th place market.
What's he in the 4? Honestly, if he comes in the top 4 and I've not done 4-place market to get the odds, I'm never going to live this one down. Come on, G, what are we saying? Let's get it on.
What are we doing, 4 or 6?
4 place, come on.
Lower for the
4, 7. Let's get it, come on.
7 places?
Come on.
Right, okay. What's the horse called?
A Silent Assistant, man. What's the horse called? Unbelievable.
I'm talking about it for 5 minutes.
He already thinks he's on his holiday, doesn't he? Incredible
Silent Assistant, right. What does Betfair Barry let you have as your normal stake?
We'll put 25 on in the place.
25?
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
25 on Silent Assistant for Dave at 4 places at 4.2, and you've not been matched.
Money coming for an ounce,
Yeah,
3.9.
see, everyone heard you.
Bring it down to 4.
We'll get that one matched for you, Dave.
Yeah, keep that.
We'll get that
Boys in the
matched
gallery
for you.
enjoying this one. No, I thought to myself, look, we've got to trade for the charity. You know what I
Right,
mean?
you're on, Dave.
I'm
You're on, and when it goes wrong, you're going to explain yourself to Betfair Barry.
Okay, all right, fair enough. If you can afford it.
If you can back the horse to finish exactly 5th, then...
That would be, yeah. Listen, so you know my play now. Andrew Mount, please bring this back into some decorum. You're on a quick double, my man.
Another tricky race. I've got a note about Republican in my tracker, which says best left-handed or simply a lunatic, question mark, because they'll run him right-handed, he'll hang left, they'll run him left-handed, he'll hang right. I mean, he's been well back today. Oliver Sherwood was very bullish about him in the Racing Post this morning. He's generally been about sort of 13, 14, I think, on the Betfair Exchange last night. now into 9.2, but not for me. I think he's a nutter and best avoided, particularly at a single figure price. Now, the key piece of form might be the Regarding Ruth, I Will Do It race. Now, Regarding Ruth, obviously a non-runner now. But that Newbury meeting, particularly over hurdles, it was a big advantage to be up with the pace.
And Colonial Dreams wasn't. Is this where you're going?
Yeah, you stopped the race with a circuit to go, and the winner and second were first and second. Out on Patrol ran a strange race in that, made a big mid-race move, used up a bit too much petrol too soon. That can probably be upgraded from that one. I think he was fifth. Colonial Dreams, obviously, he was last for much of the race, came through to grab third. But there were others in that race who also did well from off the pace, perhaps with this race in mind. One of those being Never Been to Paris. He's the one who's getting the vote here for Harry Whittington, who's had a pretty difficult season, but the horses have been in better form of late. And Canyon City, who was, I think, about 46 on the exchange last night, now into 24. Again, a horse who made ground from off the pace.
Likes it here, likes
the ground, goes well at this time of year. But yeah, I mean, Never Been to Paris, hasn't had many opportunities over 2 miles 6 or further over hurdles. Close second at Stratford from off the pace, tactics that don't work there. And then, say, 2 good runs at Newbury, a 66 to 1/3 when doing best of the hold-up horses, and that last time out 6. So I'm with Never Been to Paris, but other horses from that Newbury race who were inconvenienced by the pace bias could go well, including Canyon City.
So you're sensing something of a turn up here, because Small Present is chasing a hat trick. G, why are we just not looking at the obvious here for the Jolly?
I don't know. I can't even remember what I tipped in this race. I don't think I did I?
No, this might have been one of your sit-out races.
Anyway, it's worth saying.
Only about 10 of them today.
Sam Thomas has got a 29% strike rate this season.
He cannot do anything wrong, Sam Thomas, can he?
Amazing year. This guy, Jack Foley, know much about him?
Not really.
£7.
I assume he's related to Marcus, is he?
Well, that's what I thought. But
point-to-point trainer now. Used to
as you know, I do like a £7 claim, especially when maybe they haven't had it in the past.
Someone mentioned him. Might have been Charlie Post, I think, who's jockey coach.
I was going to tip I Will Do It, and then I looked closely at the form that Andrew was saying, and the form where he was second to Regarding Ruth, and I wasn't sure he could beat Regarding Ruth, let alone the others. But now Regarding Ruth is a non-runner, so having initially said that I wasn't going to play in it without Regarding Ruth in there, I would find I Will Do It a bit more interesting now that the Regarding Ruth is out.
Flag is up then, and I Will Do It maybe for G. Yeah, Sam Thomas is having a great season. It's really good to see, actually, Tom, from Ryder of Denman. You will remember, of course.
Less pressure on the front end now, pace-wise, now that Regarding Ruth's and non-runners, and that will help I Will Do It as well.
That's interesting. Silent Assistant looks like it's coming in for money as well on the back of the charity play in the place market, which you had a bit of fun with.
Pressure's on, Dave.
The pressure's always on, G. Well, like Freddie Mercury. Right, OK, off we go. So 3:15 at Haydock, and there a couple are being pushed up for the lead. Canyon City being one of them. Silent Assistant now, that is very interesting, going to the front under Tom Bellamy. Let's hope he's not going to be a bit too keen. I Will Do It up there as well. Looking for some of the bigger players at the back, but we'll keep with the leaders. Crossgales of, well, how do you say that? Crossgales Fame Game. There you go for Fergal O'Brien, another trainer having a fantastic season as ever. Super Colonistic up there for Team Twiston Davies. Now, Small Present, if you're on the Jolly and you're going for the hat-trick seeker for Sue Smith, Ryan Mania, giving up the outside to no one. Colonial Dreams on this sharper track. He's having a bit more interest early doors at the moment. Who's out the back? Republican. This is your lunatic, Andrew Mount. He looks like he's behaving himself to me.
Yeah, it's early days yet.
Give it time.
Until he comes under pressure.
Give it time.
I tell you, look at those cheek pieces on Never Been to Paris. They're a proper pair, aren't they? Oh, it's just hidden here. You see a cheek piece coming out. Good jump by Never Been to Paris there. Is that Jack Foley in front on I Will Do It? Is that your one as well?
That's my one. Silent Assistant's up there as well. Unfortunately, he's not a silent assistant today. Who's that that's already been given given away? I think it was Exadella, was it? I think for Warren Greytrix, was it? Jamie Stone, of course, and Gav Sheehan. That's what I thought there. Who's out the back at the moment?
Super Calonistic's taking it up, is it?
Kansas City Chief out the back at the moment. Super Calonistic going on then with I Will Do It. So Sam Thomas, if you read his comments this morning in the members section, basically said, I ran him on terrible ground in December. Got it all wrong. He will come on for Newbury. We will find that out. Where do you want to be, Andrew, over hurdles, do you think, when you're playing in running? You don't want to be too far back, do you?
Yeah, good question. For what we've seen today, you want to be in the first half dozen, I would guess. And they haven't gone quite as quick as we thought they might when we were looking at the race this morning. Super Calonistic, a regular front runner. Nigel Twiston Davis has got the best record at this Challenger Series meeting. I think 3 wins joint with Top George. And out on patrol.
Nigel Twiston-Davies at Haydock, you're kidding me. Bristol de Meyer, of course, going in the National next week. Wow, fantastic.
Shame that's not at Haydock.
Well, listen, he could run a blinder, couldn't he? Paul Keeley's all over that for the National, I can tell you. Looking in the midfield, Tellart, a horse that lost his way a little bit for Ben Pauling.
He's not had a winner for a month, 43 runners,
Ben
I think.
Pauling.
Ben Pauling.
Okay, an appalling record out there for Ben at the moment. I'm sure we'll put that right. Come Aintree next week. Out the back then, never been to Paris. Those are a pair of cheap pieces, G, aren't they?
Yeah, that's a proper
White
pair,
and
that is.
fluffy.
John McCrick's sideburns.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, Sam Tristan-Davies on Neil Mulholland for Tango Boy. First time cheap pieces for Tony Bloom, Brighton's owner, out the back as well. Have we called them all out on patrol? Ridden to get the trip today by Adrian Heskin, who has form with some of the others in it. Let's go to Marc Hryhorskyj then. They're jumping the first last time round, I should say.
Yeah, Silent Assistant is quite short in running here. It's 19s. Could be a famous double on the cards here for Tom Bellamy. And you can stay in Barry Orr's good books, Dave. But small present at the head of the bang. I mean, this one's not really shorter than the BSP throughout. I mean, it's currently trading at 4.2. I will do it with £7 clay there. Jack Brendan Foley. I mean, this one's 9-2, 5.4 and running just now in Betfair SP7. So this one's going quite well. Republican, it's not really moved in the market yet, but obviously, as Andrew Mount suggested, anything's possible with this one. And Colonial Dream, that's probably the market mover here. That's into 7.6, around 13-2 for BSP of 11. So this one's been snuggled in quite quietly under Nico. So that's probably the eye catcher. But it looks like small presence I want to be here.
Thank you very much, Marc Hryhorskyj. Okay, then, for the final time at Haydock, we go on to the far side, and I will do it under Jack Foley claiming 7, says I'm getting my own way no matter what, and starts to put a bit more pace into the race. Around about 5 out now, I think, aren't we? And he pops that one. Yeah, so maybe just got into the top of it a little bit. I'm very happy with my Silent Assistant, just sitting off him. Absolutely perfect position. Travels not. He's got some form, this chap. It's just like I say, it was a bit eye catching last time at Market Raising because
he's a maiden under rules. Does that worry you though?
It does, absolutely. He's 0 from 8 now, isn't he?
That's why he didn't do the win.
That's probably my
shrewd man.
Now you're finding
You're a
my
shrewd
excuses
man,
for me. The H14s are coming out already. They are starting to make a move, and he keeps catching my eye. The absolute lunatic that is Republican. He's on the outside. No hanging so far, Andrew. I'll tell you what. You've had a winner, man. This show can quickly put egg on your face. Let me tell you. Colonial Dreams now comes up to eyeball the leader, Nico de Boinville, Republican. He's absolutely cruising. He must be going short on the graph, I think. Kansas City, or is that Tango Boy, isn't it, of course? Kansas used to be in those colours. I'll tell you what, Canyon Chief as well.
Still goes well in front. I will do it.
Yeah, OK, I will do it then. They're locking horns now. Are they going to go a bit too soon?
You're in trouble here, Dave.
I keep looking at Republican. What you think this is going to win?
No, yours is going backwards, mate.
No, don't be so ridiculous. Come on, it's just a ride of Ben. Come on, Silent.
You've got 4 places. You're in trouble.
Giving him a breather.
No, I'm all right. It's OK. It's not too bad. Maybe he has got a bit of something.
Come on, I will do it.
Right then. OK, with 3 outs at the minute, and the challengers are mounting. Small Present is filling his lungs as Colonial Dreams just takes it up. We've got I Will Know It on the inside. Silent Assistant not out of this at all. Keep going, buddy.
Tango Boy from
small
out the
presence there. Republican. I'll tell you what, nothing.
Colonial Dreams is absolutely cruising.
Canyon City's there. Let's have a look at this then. 2 out. Don't forget, it can be a long way home at Haydock. Canyon City's coming into this as well, given a really good shout by Andrew Mount. Silent Assistant looks like he's going backwards. Unfortunately, now I Will Know It backing out of it. Small Present, what's he got left for the running?
He might
Colonial Dreams absolutely wins it. Canyon City there as well. Small Present not got the legs at the minute. Tellart from the back. Republican staying on.
What's coming? Something's going to come.
It looks like Tango Boy's coming.
Something's going to come.
Colonial Dreams is absolutely up on his feet. What's going to get there? Small Present knows where the line is. Nico de Boinville turning up. The line coming time. Small Present, the favourite on the outside. Yeah, he's going to knob him. He's got him on the outside.
Oh, close.
I'm going to say that didn't hold on, Graeme Rodway.
I thought it held on.
Oh, Colonial Dreams.
I thought it held on, Dave. What do you think?
You can back Colonial Dreams
very
at 15.08, 2.94 on the exchange.
Absolute pandemonium. Marc Hryhorskyj, I can hear you in my ear.
Yeah, it's very tight there. It did look like Nico was going to hold on. Colonial Dream, they were certainly back in this one. In the run, the betting right now, Small Present went off BSP.
He's got up.
0.4. He's 1.42, 1.45.
I'm not sure, Dave.
And Colonial Dreams is roughly trading between 9 to 4 and 5 to 2.
I wear glasses for a reason. I'm not going to try and call it.
Very close. Yeah, very close.
I can tell you that the tractable Republican has been on his best behaviour and filled third. Canyon City, you gave that a great shout, Andrew. Looks like that
I think
has,
he's scraped into the 4.
all the right conditions for horses. We're that time of year now where you look for horses that like the course of good mark and good ground, and hopefully they will leave their previous winter form figures behind. We're seeing it, aren't we? Tango Boy threatened to get into it. I Will Know It just did a bit too much too soon. Tellart has come back to form. Maybe that winner is not too far off for Team Pauling at home at the moment. They still haven't called it, guys, have they?
This could be a dead heat.
Could be a dead heat territory. It's gone on long enough.
No, the longer they go on.
We had that one the other day at Chelmsford where it was a pixel. And
they're not happy about it, are
They're going
they?
to appeal.
Yeah, Brian Barr not happy about that one. Of course, the last time we had this on RP Live, your memories will go back to the Sunday of Cheltenham Open meeting.
Been cold, I think, is it?
Yep.
Small present got up,
present.
indeed, absolutely right. Never in doubt if you were on the favourite there. He needed every single yard of it. This will be a lovely chaser in the making next year, won't it, for Team Smith?
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. We could see him running in some of what Paul called it.
It's quite interesting there, wasn't it, towards the line? I didn't see Ryan Mania give Small Present too many slaps towards the line. He just put his head down and concentrated on getting his head down right on the line. I've seen that a few flat jockeys adopt those sort of tactics. And last year, Frankie Dettori was superb at it. He'd come to the sort of last 50 yards, put his stick down and just concentrate on trying to get his horse
Benoit de la Sayette
right on the
springs
line.
to mind as well. He does that. Maybe he's not so adept with the stick yet, but he certainly springs to mind. Well, there we are. Small Present, favourite wins at Haydock, beats Colonial Dreams on an absolute blinder, and Republican as well. An early plunge on that each way has been landed in third place. Great stuff. Bidding farewell to Haydock. Will be on the flat there. Is this the last jumps meeting at Haydock? Probably is, isn't it?
The Swinton.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, the Swinton. The aforementioned Swinton, one of the greatest.
Is that still a mixed meeting?
Is it a mixed meeting?
It used to be, didn't it, I think?
Do you know Aintree used to be a mixed meeting? Someone was talking to me about that. Dave Bellingham, one of our old colleagues, was saying, I miss Aintree when it was a mixed meeting. I'm like,
When
was that?
When Red Run won a 5
I
furlong
haven't got a
cellar.
clue, but apparently he used to have flat races there as well. He used to have a cellar at Cheltenham Festival, don't forget. These things
Are
can
you
happen.
sure?
I'm almost certain he put it up on his Twitter. I was like, what? It's crazy. He's very rarely wrong about these things. Let's just leave that there. You can look that up and throw egg at my face if that is wrong. But now we've got to go for the final race of the day, 3:35 at Musselburgh. It is the Queen's Cup. The stayers come out to play. We've just had the sprinters there. Nate the Great heading the market. Marc Hryhorskyj.
Yeah, this is obviously the last race we're going to be covering today. Is the 3:35 at Musselburgh. I'm quite keen on Tim Easterby's Glencadam Glory here. David Allen takes the ride. Ex-John Gosden runner, front runner who has traded short in the BSP in the last 5 runs. 7th of November, Doncaster BSP of 100s hit 50s. The 24th of October, BSP 48.89. He's hit 21s. And the 5th of September, Haydock's hit BSP 24.39, hit 11s. And at York, the 22nd of August, his BSP 55s, hit 5s. Can be competitive off 99 for Tim Easterby and David Allen here. The second at York on the 22nd of August. That's solid form. The winner that day, Fujairah Prince, now rated 114 and was second in the Irish St Ledger at the Curragh behind Dermot Wells' Search for a Song. I think if we can get across from stall 11 and be handy, this has potential for a solid back to lay. So the selection, what we're going to do here, Graeme, right, is we're going to bet Glencadam Glory. It's going to be a back to lay and running. So what we'll do, I'm just looking at the market right now. What price are we at the moment? We're 15s, 14 to 1 on the Betfair Exchange in the win market. So we'll have a £25 bet on that.
25 on Glencadam Glory at 50. Okay, yeah, that's been matched.
Yep. And then what we'll do as well, we'll take advantage of the extra additional place market, 5 place market on the Betfair Exchange, just to showcase the capabilities here. 5 place market is currently 2.72. I'm happy to be a backer there around the 7 to 4 mark. A £25 back on the 5 place market, Glencadam Glory at 2.72.
And £25 on the 5 places, Glencadam Glory, that has been matched too.
Great stuff. Trade
Daniel.
on the final. Trade on. What an afternoon it's been with Marc Hryhorskyj. If you followed him in, wow, Innisfree lad. Poof. Profit through the roof. Let's go down the panel then. I've napped in this race. All right, sunshine for me. 4 from 4 at Musselburgh. I'm sure Andrew will be quick to tell us that. Has been running over hurdles, basically. He's not a hurdler. Should be absolutely primed for it. It was 20 to 1 earlier in the day. He's got a nice low draw. Callum Rodriguez on for Keith Dalglish, who targets this meeting. He's around about around about 7 to 1, isn't he? Plenty of juice in that horse that has run in some better staying handicaps on the level. I'm keen on him.
Yeah, certainly can't argue with that course record. It looks like he's going to have the race run to suit. Yard's a little bit quiet, but a lot of the runners they've had recently have tended to be big prices. Now this one tends to get well backed when he wins. He's had 9 races in which he's been favourite, 7 wins in 2 seconds.
Became a bit of a public horse, didn't he, after the old Newton Cup? You remember when he hung all over the place? And
he's never won when he hasn't started as favourite, though. That's a slight concern for backers.
So I need a point and a half, and I'm in.
Start shoveling on and
more. Yeah, fair enough. Look, lots of people on him. Paul Keeley likes this as well. I know he was very keen and snaffled some of the decent prices in the week. But where's Andrew Mount playing in the final race?
Yeah, I was going to go elsewhere. I mean, Marc Johnson's got 5 of the runners here, and we know he's done well in this race previously. I've been through his trying to fancy them, but I'm struggling really because I thought Trumpet Man's improvement came over 2 miles.
Softer ground.
Yeah, the drop to mile 6 was against when he got beaten last time at a short price. I think that was at Chelmsford.
Yeah.
The Max We Can needs generally good to firm going. I mean, it is drying out. The sun's shining at Musselburgh. I think of the Johnson horses, he might be the best. I mean, Notation's wins have come in small fields at Southall, so I'm not, and he'll
one horse that's going to be badly hampered by the 5% service going up because she absolutely found another leg, didn't she? She was brilliant there.
That's right. I mean, King's Advice, the first-time advisor is not a good angle for Marc Johnson runners. I love the horse.
He was on a world record of wins when he first came over, wasn't he? He was unbelievable.
And big races as well, valuable pots. And but again, first-time blinkers or first-time advisors with Marc Johnson runners, generally they disappoint.
Right.
So that is a little bit of a concern. And I kept coming back to this ex-James Given runner for Ian Williams. So he's got a couple of runners in the race. Indianapolis. I mean, so since James Given retired, December time, his horses have gone to other trainers, 3 wins from 6 starts. We saw one of those in action earlier on because it's won 3 times at Southall now. So I just thought this might be a horse who will improve for the switch of yards. He's going to need, like in running, he's a hold-up horse. Again, we've talked about the pace holding up, even when on paper it looks like there being a lot of it.
Yeah.
So my main play was Indianapolis. I thought the Max We Can had a chance. And Nate the Great, he surprised me by winning last time because I had him down as a bit of a twicer. He kept running well without winning.
He was a Chesham horse as a 2-year-old, do you remember? He got touched off in one of them. That was for Archie Watson.
I did my dough when he won at Wolverhampton last time.
Right, I was actually on him that day. It was really, really good wide from William Carver. They could have gone to the all-weather finals with this chap yesterday. They kept him for a turf campaign. He is a course winner. Lots to like about him from stall 4 as well. Graeme, Rodway.
Yeah, I thought Nate the Great got a good ride last time, like you say, and was probably a bit fortunate to win the race. However, I don't think it was a bad race, was it? Who Dares Wins was second, wasn't he? And he's fairly useful. It's another one of these races where you're going to get a lot of these turning up against each other all season, and they're going to beat each other a few times over. And I think in my notes I wrote King's Advice, but maybe Indianapolis, but maybe the Max We Can. I'd like King's Advice because he is really well handicapped.
First time advisor put you off a bit then?
He's gone down, 97 he's on.
He's not an all-weather horse, I think we can say that. He's had, I mean, I know he's won on it 3 times, but in this sort of level, he's a tough, galloping track horse, I think.
And he's 97. I think he's certainly one off higher, and he's obviously got Andrew Breslin claiming 5 for the first time. The first time they put a claimer on him and it might be forever. It's for a long time anyway. So, he's well handicapped anyway. Plus, you've got the £5 claim of the jockey on. So, if he comes back to form, he's going to be a major player. Plus, of course, Marc Johnson is absolutely flying.
As we know.
And are we getting to the point where a bit like Ireland in Cheltenham, are we just saying, these Johnson horses are just fitter at this stage of the season than
you get that at the start of the season, don't you? Archie Watson 2-year-olds, for example, is a trend that people jump onto, isn't it? Yards having the horses more ready at this time of season.
Yeah, and because last summer, after the first lockdown, everyone was sort of, let's look at the stats for trainers who, got a poor record off a break or a good record. Roger Fell was one most people highlighted. His horses are rubbish off a break. What happens in the first race back on the 1st of June? Yeah, he has the forecast with like 25 to 1.
A lot of these horses had been in training, of course, since March, hadn't they, you see? So.
Yeah, so those that had kept on and
it wasn't really like the start of the season when we were can we, can't we. These horses had to be kept in work and stuff.
Ian Williams will get the best out of this Indianapolis. He's He's got talent.
Playing handicap king, isn't he?
He's got
Chester
talent,
Cups.
this horse.
So will it be Chester Cup? Is this a pipe opener for that race?
Very interesting. Well, he's not in those colours. He's not in Marwan's colours, is he? So he's in the colours of Kay McKenna. This, from memory, this chap. He was Aidan O'Brien, wasn't he? He ran. Did he win at the Hryhorskyj Cup meeting? Something tells me he did. Well, he's a talented horse on his date now with Ian Williams, PJ McDonald on. Let's get some viewer interaction coming up on the screen. Thomas Irish HD, regular contributor. Notation can go well here. I think his race at Newcastle did him no justice whatsoever. Another one of these horses that you've got to forgive Thomas doing it with notation. One of the Johnson quintet. And Craig Ruddock. Great to have you back on, Craig. Trumpet man, another Jono. Trumpet double for a treble. Wow. Okay, happy days. Double and a treble. Some of you having a great afternoon out there.
So I think we need a market on who's going to be making the running after a furlong here, because there are so many who like to.
Hence you said about All Right Sunshine just loves to get that strong pace. So I remember back in All Right Sunshine.
I mean, Diocletian, Stargazer, another two who will appreciate an end-to-end gallop here.
Diocletian didn't really cut the mustard over hurdles, didn't
No,
he? I thought might go on with it.
I prefer Stargazer with the pair, because last time out when he was favourite at Newcastle, he's hit the front too soon. He's been given his usual hold-up ride, and then he's in front 2 furlongs.
Well named, this chap, isn't he?
Which, yeah.
He's
He's
having a look at. He's having a look up, isn't he?
Absolutely, and the round course at Newcastle, you do not want to be in the front too soon. He's in front 2 furlongs out, which is about.
He does like Newcastle.
1.5 furlongs too soon, basically.
He really went through that race well, didn't he? Like you said, I think a furlong and a half out, he was just, he was sitting and you thought, how far is this going to win? But
he was third to Nate the Great the last time those two met on the all-weather. So
yeah, again, it's like we're saying, like they will meet a few times this year. Probably the first time they will. They've already met on the all-weather. Is the next weekend a bit of a thief?
We wouldn't have said that at the early stage of his career. And All Right Sunshine goes favourite. Marc Hryhorskyj, this is when he wins.
Yeah, this one looks very, very competitive here. All Right Sunshine just went favourite there for Keith Dalglish. 7.2 to back, 7.4 to lay. Neither Great slightly on the drift out to 7.6, but I mean it's difficult to obviously split them. Obviously, Mark Johnson is a man who's on fire today. Then Maxwell Gann, that's 8.8 to back, 9 to lay, just roughly around the 8 to 1 mark. And obviously Holly Doyle's on Cardano has won the last twice for Ian Williams. This one does look pretty wide open, and I think you want to be on the front end here, and there could potentially be some in-running carnage here. There's a bit of late money for Andrew Baldwin's Isolation. This one will have to improve since its last run. I mean, that one's in at 13.5. It's currently about 18 to 1, but it looks pretty wide open for the last race we're going to cover today.
Great stuff, yeah, it is. It's absolutely wide open. 5 to 1, the fielder's last couple to go in. Nate the Great, between Nate the Great and All Right Sunshine. Oh no, come on, I'm in the market for who's going to go off Fav here. So just the one non, isn't it? We've got the top one, the Grand Vizier, of course, Ian Williams had a runner. If you were looking at this, you think, well, Ian's got 3 in there, top weight comes out. Cardano on a roll, Holly on, she can find a way, can't she? Let's hope you've enjoyed the afternoon. One more race to come your way. Don't forget tomorrow, some great racing all over the place. It starts to hot up at Fairyhouse, and Easter Monday treat for you, a Michelin star guide appetiser for the Grand National next week. We will be covering the Grand National meeting in entirety here on RP Live. Cannot wait for that. Some real characters of the game coming in to join us as well. Good luck then, wherever you played in this finale. Lots of pace on, says Andrew Mount. Let's have a look. And they are indeed off and running then. It's a little bit like Kempton, isn't it, in Musselburgh? They've got this big run into the first bend and then they go round and they meet some all weather. So it's any Kempton horses are going to go
the Johnston runners.
Oh, what a surprise. So there's a bit of a V shape at a minute, not hanging around at all, are they? Looks like, now I'm tempted to say that Notation and Hotchfeld are both up there, are they? Cardano looks like he's up there as well. One of the Williams runners.
Holly's going to come and try and serve it up to the Johnson runners up front.
Yeah, Holly Dawn, it is absolutely not having it your own way, and that means that one of them has dropped off. That looks like number 11. That is Notation that's dropped off as Hotchfeld, a horse that's got his ground today. The more drying that he gets, he'll stay all day. He takes it up. Then Nate the Great, William Carver, he will be over the moon. He'll be going through this race all night. How do I play it? How do I play it? Lovely. Third spot on the inside. Got a lovely drone cam at the moment up at Musselburgh. Torcello for Sean Lysett and Alicia Whittington. We've not mentioned All Right Sunshine. Lovely spot for him at the moment in 6th. Really happy with that. Looking back, Trumpet Man further back. Some of the runners are going for the screen. We tell you that Stargazer is out there as well. Far side then, Andrew Mount. King's Advice drops his out last with Diocletian. Who's catching your eye?
Hockfeld in front. Looking at the exchange, he's 10.5. He's going well. Might be like Namus earlier on and just
keeps
rolling on that inside rail.
Connor Beasley taking the ride then, bidding to give Marc Johnson a 4-timer on the day from the 4 races he had runners in.
Yeah, they're going fairly decent pace, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe just steadied it a slightly bit, but no, 32 miles per hour, absolutely strung out like the washing, my friend.
Yeah, steadied it down a little bit now because that thing in the middle, was that yours? All Right Sunshine, starting to take maybe a little bit of a tug. What's that thing?
Take it off on the outside.
I'll tell you what, he's going to spoil his stablemate here. This is what you've got to love about the Johnson team. Despite the fact there's 5 runners tonight.
He says he doesn't give the jockeys instructions. He says go out and ride your own race.
An even race. Absolutely. Well, that's being borne out here because absolutely Hryhorskyj, Connor Beasley saying, oh, hang on a minute, off we go. Just Torcello looks like he's struggling at the minute to go the pace. The Max We Can, a horse that stays further. We've seen him run at Glorious Good, but we going close there. He's really filling his lungs.
Great travel.
Really going at it now. Look at these two leaders.
There they are going for it. Ollie Doyle's
having
nothing of it. Absolutely. And this is where you start to see them stretched. Okay, will they come back? All right, Sunshine lining up on the outside.
His favourite on the Exchange.
Where's Indianapolis? Looking for him. He's out the back. Maybe this is a final. Come on, the Sunshine. Never will you have a better chance, my friend. He's filling himself up down the wide outside. They've gone too quick up front, haven't they? Surely
they're
Nate the
stop.
Great.
Are they stopping?
For the Max We Can. They're not stopping. I don't believe it. They're going on, these Johnson horses. Cardano right in there. What, anything coming out from the back?
It's got to be a Johnston one coming.
Stargazer looks like it. All right, Sunshine.
The first 4.
Oh, he's not really going on the ground. All right, Sunshine. Is he? I don't know. Come on, fill your lungs, me old son.
Where's the other Johnston ones?
They're all up there. They're all up there. Notation then for Thomas Hryhorskyj on the inside. But it's going to be the Max We Can. Is he a bit of a thief? Cardano up there. The Max We Can gets it from Cardano and Holly Doyle, who made sure that was a serious test in second as they went past the post. I've got no idea what finished third. I know that Nate the Great was up there. It probably was in notation. It might have been.
Was it Hockfeld or
Hockfeld? My lord, they're all in the same colours. Unbelievable scenes then in the final race. The Max We Can. Of course, who's the man on board of that? It was Ben Curtis. And of course, this association with Marc Johnson this year, we're going to see Ben riding a lot more. That was a peach.
Yeah, that was a fantastic ride. And again, the pace has held up. You look at that, Hockfeld's making the running. He's third. Cardano's served it up to him. He's second. The Max We Can. We're watching the race in the early stages now. Is in third place, coming up on the outside. Nate the Great, fourth. He's stayed in that position. Absolutely nothing's come from off the pace.
Nothing.
Even though it looks like they've gone hard. You was pointing out that during the race, 32 miles an hour. Mile 6, take some sustaining. But
they really attacked off the home Benji, didn't they?
They did. They really put the pace for the race. They obviously had no doubts that they were hard fit, these horses, compared to some of the others. And it has been a bit like watching Ireland versus England this afternoon. Johnston versus the rest. It's one race between all the Johnston runners and another race between the rest. They're just so much fitter, more forward than anything else today at Musselburgh.
There'll probably be an inquiry and suggestions for a race featuring trainers other than Marc Johnson.
I'm looking to see what he's got in the next. Actually, I'm just looking down. It's a 5 furlong handicap. Unlikely he's got anything on that. But listen, Marc Johnson, expect winners all over the place in the next week. Then
anything made ground from off the pace.
Stargazer's tried, and he really disappointed with All Right Sunshine. Looked like he was coming to win the race. Didn't really let himself down, as he looked like. I don't know, as he held it behind over. Stargazer would be the one. So it was indeed Hockfeld in third as well.
Definitely a bit of a pipe opener for Indianapolis, I thought. Out the back and ran on nicely through beaten horses. Kings of Vice made some nice late ground.
Cardano's a lovely beast, isn't he? He's always up there in his races. Just when you think he's beaten, he pulls out a little bit more. Proved he can still do it on the turf as well. They'll have some fun with him this year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's been winning in small fields from the front on the all-weather, so he showed he can mix it in a big field on turf, so plenty of options for him.
Trumpet Man as well, looking like that. Maybe a bit of a pipe opener. Stargazer doing what he does best under pressure, having a little look around at the stars up there. Marc Hryhorskyj, the story of the market in the last.
Yeah, you definitely wanted to be prominent, especially in Musselburgh today. The Max We Can, he's hit 42 and running for very small money. And Cardano's hit 1.6 for 160 and running. I thought it was quite a good ride, enterprising ride from Holly Doyle. I thought this one was quite keen. I think this one will win again. But I'll tell you, if you were on the Marc Johnson singles and multiples today at Musselburgh, you're certainly in clover.
Thank you very much, Marc Hryhorskyj. You've enjoyed your second stint on the show. You'll be back after entry, no doubt, and you've got the order of the day, my friend, a 28-1 winner.
Yeah, can't complain with that one, Dave. Always a pleasure to represent the Betfair brand on Racing Post Live. NS3 lad got us some solid profit for the charity of choice, Greatwood. You see, you've got the boss, Barry Orr, back for next week. So you need some explaining for that silent assistant bit to Barry, to Dave. But hopefully be back soon next weekend and get some more winners for the charity.
Marc, stay well. Thank you very much. Great to have you on. Your popularity grows. Yeah, I have heard from Barry Orr actually during this show. It wasn't about silent assistant. He's a massive fan of Jack Tudor's, huge. There's not a bigger fan out there of Jack Tudor's, and the future is bright. He thought he rode an absolute peach on that. So he was just telling me what he thought of the skills of him along the way. It's been a great day. And Andrew Mount, your debut, you've enjoyed yourself?
Loved it. Thanks for having me.
The viewers have liked you. I've been having messages in saying, tell your man thanks. I listened to him about Jabberwocky, got it absolutely right there.
You're very generous.
Well, indeed. So we've had the professor come down, tell us all about the numbers, the trends. Andrew will be back throughout this flat season, no doubt. The mad professor at the end. Oh, man, we're slightly worrying about you and your hairdresser who's got a task ahead of him.
We need a before and after shot.
We need a before and after shot.
Make sure that you get a good one, because next time we're going full skinhead.
Yeah, it's blimey, is that right? Butterbean.
I would do, but the missus will kill me.
Absolutely brilliant. Great to have Graeme one way on with us. I've been Dave Orton as well. This has been Racing Post Live. Don't forget, we're back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Aintree time. Until then, enjoy the sport.